Okay. What's going? Okay, I think we're live. There we go. What's going? Okay, I think we're live. What's up, everybody? We're going to start in about a minute or so. We have our guest, and our co-host is somewhere missing in action. So who is here watching us for day 3? What's going on, Joe? Good seeing you here. Yeah, so today we're going to have a... Hello, Joe. Good seeing you, sir. So I believe you're 2 out of 3 days. Joe, hit me up, send me a message. We shall see. All right. And there he is. There's our co-host. Give me a thumbs up. Okay, you're good?
Yep.
There he is. You know, so this is just like SHOT Show, where by the 3rd day, people get lazy and they're late and they are tired.
Honeydew list.
The honeydew list. Well, you're also working a couple of jobs.
Yes.
There we go. So are you excited for day 3?
Yes, I am.
So day 3 is going to be pretty busy for us today. Okay. We played with a couple schedule changes. And honestly, I got to say, I am positively amazed and shocked how many thousands of people have watched day 1 and day 2. I did not expect that. I mean, for the videos, I expected it, but I didn't expect that many people to tune in from home or from work because they want to go to Vegas and they can't.
Well, so far it's been a good turnout. I'm happy with it.
All right. So we do have more new guns that came out overnight. I got a couple of new press releases. So we are going to discuss those, but we're going to hop in and we're going to skip straight to our first guest. Somebody I wanted to have on, somebody I definitely meet every year. I go to their booth at SHOT Show, and it's a company whose products I've covered quite a bit. So I guess you can say that if my name wasn't Mr. Ruger Guns, it would be the second most popular videos that I do, and the second most number of videos for a company that I covered is Mr. Taurus Guns. And we are joined by Taurus today. And I'm here with my friend George, and we're going to bring him on, and we're going to talk about the company. We're going to talk about what's going on at Taurus, how they're able to succeed, and how they've been able to grow as much as they have and really make a name for themselves as being a company that produces great firearms at very awesome prices, or firearms for everyday Jack and Joe. And Jill. There we go. Jack and Jill. So we're going to bring them on. And then afterwards, we're going to be joined at around 6 o'clock. We're going to be joined by Darkstorm Industries to talk about some probably ARs and some more new products. And I will say I'm actually in a pretty happy mood today. So for the last 2 days, I was trying to get out to the range and put about $80 worth of ammo. And I was able to do that. So that is awesome. Man. That was awesome. As always, so we have... if you have a question or comment for anything that we're covering, do make sure that you're going to leave them. We will get through them. If you want to support the channel, send a super chat, and I'll make sure that we do address those questions at the top of the line. And do consider becoming a Squad member. So hold on. So when I do videos, it's that corner. So there we go. That corner, there's a join button. Join and subscribe. And you'll help support the channel, and you are going to get a list of exclusive discounts that we have with a number of vendors. So that's enough chitty chat. I know you guys are here to talk about new guns. So I'm going to bring George on and do that. Hello, sir.
Hello. How are you guys doing?
Good.
Can't complain. So we've known each other for about a year, and I've known your name for a little bit longer than that. You gave us a nice booth tour last year. So for those that don't know you, go ahead, introduce yourself, and tell us a little bit more about Taurus.
All right. So first of all, thanks for having us here. As you know, Taurus. It's a privilege and honor to talk about the company. A little bit about myself. I joined Taurus as an industrial designer about 4 years ago. It'll be 4 years now in February. And for the past couple of years, I've been doing a lot of product management. So a little bit of both. When we have new products to design, I work on those. More on the ergonomics, aesthetics, some of the functionality parts of what we want to have in it. And it's been definitely a blessing to be here. So what I wanted to talk about today is as far as new products, if we can already jump into that, Max.
Yeah.
Is that all right?
We can do that. So actually, hi, George. We met at Shop last year. Wish it wasn't canceled this year.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, same here. I enjoy going to the show. So.
And it is a shame. So on one hand, I guess you guys don't really need to do the show because you get product orders all the time. But I don't know, it's just the connections, and it's a good thing for dealers to kind of go out there and get a hands-on look at a lot of the firearms that are coming out.
Exactly.
Awesome. All right. So I hear new products. I know a lot of other bigger manufacturers this year, when I reach out to them, it's like, no new products yet, or we're just going to do like a new rifle in a new caliber. But you are really kind of pulling out the stops, and I've watched the presentation you guys did on Davidson's, and you're not stopping with new products. I mean, you have a calendar full of new products, don't you?
We do. So for the whole year, we will be releasing new product. It doesn't, the whole COVID got kind of put speed bumps on the way, but we're moving along. And as we planned for last year, our plan was to release new products. So we're doing just that. We're keep going with the plan and releasing as we're ready to do it. And we're excited to do so. So it's
awesome.
It's not just the new gun buyer out there that we want to keep entertained, but also, the fans that we have in the Taurus products. We want to keep them happy as well by bringing out with new and exciting stuff. So
awesome. All right. So the first product, ready to talk about it?
Yeah. So if you could bring the
there you go
on the screen. There you go. The Barkeep. So we just launched that early this month, and the Barkeep. Last year we launched the 16-inch Heritage Rancher, basically a carbine, with a different stock, more of a butt stock, and so this year last year we went long, and this year we're going short. So we wanted to pay a little respect to that original coat, the 1873, the 1877, the shopkeeper and the sheriff models, and really bring it out and make it affordable as the Heritage line. So for those that don't know, Heritage is owned by Taurus. It is manufactured fully here in the United States, and now for the past year we have been manufacturing this in Georgia, in Southwest Georgia, in a little town. Well, I call it a little town because I grew up in a big city, but it's a city called Bainbridge. So Bainbridge, Georgia, where we've been manufacturing this in a brand new facility. Also, being in that new facility gave us a lot more room to expand here in the U.S. into manufacturing and assembling new models. So, but going back to the Barkeep. So, for those that know the history or don't know, I'll just briefly touch on it. The shopkeeper with a 2 or 3 inch barrel from Coat was a custom order. Coat did not offer those models, to everyone, so you had to custom order it. And it was basically as a backup gun for the sheriff or a hideout, I guess, from what I read, and for shopkeepers to be able to have a self-defense gun. Obviously, this is a 22 LR along with the other Heritage Rough Rider revolvers, but in this tribute to that original design being a short 2-inch barrel, we had to remove the ejector rod and the housing from the barrel, and and we include it now in the box instead of having that ejector rod attached to the gun. We designed a little ejector grip with a turned wood handle, and it has the Heritage logo or the Heritage H engraved at the end of it. So basically, and then with that, we machine out the section where the ejector rod housing would match to the frame. But to start off, we launched it with 2 different models. The one that you see there on the screen with a nice wood grips. They're engraved with the scrolls and the simulated case hardened. And then the second model being the gray silver pearl, which from what we researched it as well back in the day, the gray or silver pearl were very, I guess, popular and kind of one of the main offerings that they had back in the day. So we wanted to again pay tribute and respect, but come out with a product that was exciting and concealable, but mainly for for inviting people to learn about firearms, to get on the gun and shooting community and try out for the first time, or to have a nice piece that is affordable and a nice talking point. So,
and this is a single action, much like the regular Heritage. Okay.
Yeah.
And are the grips, are they interchangeable with other common revolvers or no?
For sure. So yes, it is the same back strap, the same grip. So for those that, if you want to customize it even further, we do offer a variety of different grips in our web store, which is the shopheritagemfg.com. Or if you go to heritagemfg.com, you can go, you can click on the store or shop and it will take you to the store. So we offer different grips, and as well as if somebody buys this and loses their little ejector handle, you'll be able to purchase that on the web store as well, just in case.
Very cool. And yeah, so I'm usually not a fan of pearl grips. Like when you think pearl grips, you think white, but this gray looks awesome.
I kind of like the pearl grips.
How do you like the pearl grips?
Yeah, I like the pearl grips too.
So yeah, the white, I'm not a huge fan of it, but the gray or the black, they definitely look very sharp. It makes the firearm look very good.
Ooh, black pearl grips. That would look awesome.
Yeah.
Black pearl grips on this case hardened one.
Yeah, that's available on the web store. Also, what I didn't mention yet, I know that question will come. The 22 WMR or 22 Magnum cylinder that we sell on the web store will also work with this with the Barkeep just fine. So if you want to purchase the different WMR cylinder, you can get it and have a 22 Magnum little revolver.
Okay, so it comes as a 22 long rifle, and then if somebody wanted, you can get the 22 WMR cylinder.
Yep.
Now, there was actually a question. Usually I was going to save it a little bit later, but it was timely. Will this guy handle 22 Hornet types? Magnums? Are you familiar with 22 Hornet, or I'm not?
Yes. No, it will not. It will not work with the 22 Hornet. It's a much more powerful cartridge. But the Magnum, like I just said, it will work with the 22 Magnum.
Okay. Very cool.
But you have to purchase the correct cylinder. For the 22 Magnum and the 22 LR that comes with.
Yeah, don't stick a 22 WMR into a 22 long rifle cylinder. That does not work. Just in case.
Yeah, and the cylinders are engraved on the side, so once you receive it, so you also don't mix those in your toolbox or your safe. The cylinders are for the 22 Magnum especially. It is engraved on the side of the cylinder, 22 WMR. So
okay.
So people don't, make that.
What's the MSRP? Do you know on the 22 WMR cylinder?
I believe it's about 35.
Wow, that's
not bad at all.
I think
I was expecting something like 60 to 100.
I will. Let me double
Yep.
check really quick. Well, no, it's not that. It's not that far up.
Wow. Wow.
Might have to get one of these just to play
and I'm
with.
not saying that you're wrong. It's just like, you think anything when it comes to revolvers or firearms is going to be stupid expensive. So when somebody comes in and prices something reasonable, and it looks like the MSRP on these guns is just $180, that's wow.
So I was actually wrong. The 22 WMR is $29.99 on the website.
Wow.
I was $5 over. It's because I was thinking of the engraved one. So we also have some engraved options that those are $34.99. But just the regular 22 WMR cylinder is $29.99.
That is very cool. And so the Pearl Grip one is $189 MSRP, and then the regular one is $180 MSRP.
Yep.
And what's the availability on the revolvers?
So those we already we've already started shipping those out from the moment that we launched those. So it's a matter of what stores get it from what dealers and distributors, but we have already shipped out. I don't know the quantity of revolvers or Barkeeps we've shipped out yet, but we have shipped quite a few of them.
Very,
I'll
very.
definitely say in the thousands they're out there.
Yeah, that's awesome. And these are made in the United States and Georgia.
Yep.
That's awesome. Very cool gun. I'm sure it's going to do quite well, just like the other heritage guns.
Like I said, it's an affordable. Either if it's your first gun or you just want to add it to the collection. We've been very successful at making special, more collectible items that people have been collecting, and it's fun to watch them come to fruition, and it's fun to watch people searching for the for the limited runs on the different series that we've done.
And I think one of the places where a lot of these firearms are very awesome is when you're working with a brand new shooter. And this way, when it's not a semi-auto, they're not going to hold their finger down on the trigger and bump fire or shoot twice or shoot one round and the second round is going to go up in the air. And pretty much every time you pull the trigger, you have to think about it, and then you're going to pull the trigger. So, I mean, it's a great training firearm. And I think even right now, when 223 is over $1 a round, this is just fun to go on and just fun to go shoot.
Exactly. I mean, even 9mm, I feel like it's probably $1 close to it.
What? No, you're right. I mean, like even how much were they? It was I think people now are paying like $35 or $40 a box of 9, which is just nuts.
Yeah, just to think, like back in 2019, no, not 2019, like fall of 2019, I saw boxes online for like $8, and it's just insane right now. So hopefully that cools back down so we could afford more shooting.
Okay. So here's a question that was for this. And I think so. Joe asked, I think they're designed for smaller framed gun owners, or so is the grip a little bit on the smaller side, or is this just how it looks on the picture?
I think it may be how it looks on the screen, because I mean I have skinny fingers but pretty long hands, and to me that grip fits pretty well. It holds very, very comfortably. So I would not say it's for a smaller frame. I mean, it's still comfortable for a smaller frame, but I'll say it's a very, kind of one size fits most size of frame.
And actually, it was actually Drew's question. It kind of looks tailored to smaller hand. Is that correct? Maybe a female hand. Then Joe was making that comment, and I picked that one up. This is actually good one. I think this would be fun. Not breaking the bank to screw around, slap firing it like in the Westerns.
Yep.
I guess that's what you guys were going for.
Yeah, I think it's bringing, for people that are very into or grew up watching the old Western movies, I think it's got that nostalgia, and that's what we've been trying to do. Like, I think single action shooting, or the old Western shooting style revolvers. I think that's very popular. When I lived in Idaho before I moved, for this job, I was actually just starting to get into like checking out the guys competing with the Rugers and the other single action revolvers, and it was fun to watch. And these guys, built like little Western towns in their backyard, and they would practice with the wax, casings and
the SAS societies, the single action shooting society. That's
Yeah.
a whole different world. So to say,
Yeah.
like
Oh God, yes.
as I competed in USPSA and IDPA a little bit. Derek does a lot of long range gun stuff,
Mhm.
and like I thought we take it seriously, and then I started talking to some of the people who shoot single action, and
Oh,
that is just mind blowing.
Yeah.
I mean, you do have your own Western name as well.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
I thought reloading for long range was down to a science, but those single action shooters, man, I'm telling you, they can draw and shoot in less than a 20th of a second, and I mean, it's amazing to watch.
Yeah, it's really fun, and it's amazing to see some of the older guys that were shooting, drawing from the back even, and shooting, under half a second, and I was like, these guys are insane, man. It's crazy. It's
Very
really
cool.
to watch. So that's what we're trying to do, keep that history alive, make it affordable for people to be able to get into the sport and practice, or just plink around and and keep collecting maybe.
Very cool. And like I said, and then when you want to step it up a little bit, just for $30, go buy a 22 WMR cylinder.
Yeah.
And go have that.
Mhm.
Now, does Taurus package them? Do you have any SKUs where you have both cylinders together, or no?
Not at this time. We package them individually, but not at this time. We don't have. Well, actually, let me take that back. We do offer some SKUs of the revolver itself with the two cylinders.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah. Not the Barkeep, but we do have the Rough Rider in different configurations, different grips, but with 4 or 6 inches. And anybody can check those out on our website. And some do come with the 22 WMR cylinder included in the box.
Very cool. All right, so you have that, and this would ordinarily, for 2021, this would ordinarily be enough.
Yeah.
But from what I understand, you guys decided to take an already popular pistol, which you could have milked for another couple of years, and you wanted to do more with it.
Yeah. Yes. So since the cat is out of the bag, we launched the TX22 competition just 2 days ago. And so far, we've seen pretty positive response, and which is also exciting. The TX22 regular model, like it's been a very successful firearm. We've sold a lot of them. We still have a lot of back order, especially with the current situation. But right after we launched and everything was pretty much done with the TX22 from an engineering and new products development side, we started working on this gun. Even though we launched the TX22 regular model, kind of a competition ready gun, it didn't have a couple of things that we still wanted to add to it. And so we went back and started working on this, and the main difference is, it still shares the same frame. So I saw a lot of people asking on social media if the regular TX22 frame was the same, and if you could just buy a kit. So just to get that out of the way, we will offer the kit, the upper kit, which will come the slide, the barrel, with the slide, the barrel assembled, and the recoil rod and spring all assembled, and the mounting plates and the 2 adapter plates all in the kit. So we will have that probably in the next couple of months available in our web store. So those that bought already the TX22 can just buy the kit if they desire to do so. I will just buy another gun because I think 2 is better than 1. So I have a black version and I want the FD. So I'll probably just buy a second gun. But so the main difference is on the competition on this model, we decided to go with a thicker barrel. So the regular TX22 has a 0.4 inches overall diameter barrel. So on this one, we went, with a more match grade barrel. So it's a 0.6 inches overall diameter. So it's quite a bit thicker. It also is longer. So the regular one has a 4-inch long barrel. This one has a 5-inch longer, or 5-inch long barrel. The slide is a little bit longer as well to accommodate for the longer barrel. And the reason, actually, I was talking about the barrel, so let me stay there. We also threaded the barrel. It comes with a cap on it. So you can use either a suppressor or a compensator, though, compensator on a 22 LR is not really needed. But, people do as they wish, and compensators make guns look cool. So I can see people doing the same thing.
I have a suppressor permanently on my TX22.
Yeah. So I mean, to each their own. I think that's what makes the firearm industry fun, is you can customize it and do it, make it your own. So now moving to the system.
I mean, sticking on the barrel for a second, I think one of the advantages that the TX22 has versus competitors, well, the Glock 40, whatever it is,
44.
Yep.
I mean, you come out with a 22 that's modern looking. You don't include a fretted barrel, considering that's one of the entire premises in the 42 free states where you can own a suppressor.
Yeah,
you want to put a suppressor on there, and you don't include a fretted barrel. So the fact that the TX22 and the TX22 competition comes ready fretted is just awesome, because you don't need to go out and spend $80 to $120 to go buy a replacement barrel. So
yeah,
I just want to give you guys a lot of credit for that. And I think pretty much, in the exception of the states where you can't have a fretted barrel, which I think it might be like 1 or 2, it just such a good idea just to have it in there. So 5 inches plus a fretted barrel on this would be awesome.
Well, I'm glad you like it. So I think it was the right decision to do, and not to capitalize, I guess, on accessories. We wanted to get we wanted to be ready right out of the box. So we also brainstormed a lot with our pro shooter Jesse, and she gave us ideas, and we talked, and so the engineering side and everything. So we wanted to offer basically a gun that all you need to do is put your preferred optics on there, in which you can see, on that sales sheet, we have the 4 different options. So basically that covers footprint for 99% of the optics, as the more popular and used ones. But let me explain a little bit the reason that we wanted to mount the optic, or the reason that the optic is mounted to the center of the gun and not to the back of the slide. So I'm not a competitor. We have one that we can ask questions and brainstorm with. Like I said,
I can probably answer that question for you, because I know from my perspective why you would do that. But go ahead.
Yeah. So I'm sure you would know, but both of you. But the reason that as your firearm is cycling and that slide is moving back and forth, it may, I think there's this, some people may challenge it that, your eyes are not as fast as the cycle of the gun, the cycle of that slide moving back and forth. But every half a second, every millisecond, just everything you can do to improve your timing and your speed, I think you will do it, right? So instead of mounting the red dot to the back of the slide and losing that timing where the slide is moving back and forth, and the shooter having to reacquire your target, your red dot on the target, we mounted it straight on top of the stationary barrel. So that staying there, motionless basically, you don't lose your red dot, you don't lose your target as you're pulling that trigger and your slide is cycling back and forth. You can keep your eye on the target and not lose it. So that's why we decided to mount on top of it and basically give every advantage from the product itself to the shooter to be able to become a better shooter and a better competitor. So
Yeah, and I think so. I think the other, so you're absolutely right on that it is going to stay flatter because one of the things with, so when people think competition guns, when you think like your USPSA and IPSC open guns, most of them, like the 2011s, they have the optic mounted to a frame. Well, it's sitting on on a piece of metal that's connected to the frame. The mount is connected to the frame. There we go. Duh. In order to remain as flat as possible. Except in carry optics, which that's not doable, and you're mounting it on the gun. But it does, as the gun recoils, there's going to be more movement with it. But I think the other aspect is, and I think we've seen it with some other 22s, when you have a lighter recoiling caliber, by putting a dot on it, it puts more weight on the slide, and at times it's not going to cycle reliably. So by keeping the weight on the barrel, that you're going to maintain the reliability in the gun.
100%. So yeah, we've seen people doing it themselves on the regular TX22. I wouldn't say we don't recommend it. If they mill the slide to accept a red dot, it's you are voiding the warranty by milling the slide and modifying the original firearm. But if you're adding weight to the slide on a 22 LR, which it doesn't have a lot of strength to cycle that slide, and that's why the slide is made out of a high strength aluminum, but a light material. But if you're adding weight to it, you change that how the gun functions slightly. So I don't know depending on the type of red dot, so we won't go in there, but that's 100% correct. We wanted to keep the reliability and feeding, extraction, and all of that the same reliability that we had on the regular TX22, but still have the red dot option for it. So that was basically the best decision, or the best option that we came up with, is keeping it stagnary, if that's a word. English is my second language, so sometimes I come up with little words.
No, it's mine too, so don't worry about that. Okay, so then the other thing actually I really like is, and I'm not sure if anybody else has done it, where you have one plate that can be flipped to accept all of the common
red dots. Yeah, so it comes with two plates, and the plate, it's kind of hard to see if actually, if you pull up the video on the Taurus website, if you scroll down a little bit, there should be there's that. I don't know if the video is up, but you can see there. That's where the mounting, or the main mount gets screwed on or attached to, and then on the front section of it, you can flip the adapter plate to be able to match to your favorite optic.
Awesome.
So that way you have two plates, but they're, I guess, easier not to lose, or 2 versus 4 plates or whatever it is. So
you have the STS mount, which is going to be a lot of USPSA guys. You have the new Delta points, the Bushnell, then you have the RMR, Holosun 407, and those, and then the SRS, and then you have the Vortex Burris sight mark. So that's awesome. And the gun's going to come with the plates, both the plates.
Yeah, yes. It's hard to see, but at the bottom corner, the bottom right corner on the plate, there's little dots. So, the first plate has the 1 dot, and then you can see that the second has 2 dots. So that's how you can differentiate from, plate to plate. And in the manual will also, well, you can see it on there, but also in the manual, it will specify the same information. So if you want to mount a Trigicon or a Holosun, then you just see the little dots so you know which plate to use and to match with your optic.
Fantastic. Very cool.
So the video is much more exciting than me, speaking. Feel free to play it if you want. I'm sure most
is somebody shooting it there?
Yes, Jesse is, so maybe not.
Okay. Do that. We'll experiment with that next time.
So the viewers can watch it on YouTube.
Yeah, so I included in the description, you'll have a link to the website, so you can go on the website and you can watch the videos directly yourself.
Perfect.
Okay, so this is actually a better picture of how the plate goes over the barrel. Very cool. And I say, so the first time I saw it, I was like, oh, wow, this is like a nice mix. It's like if a TX22 and the Beretta 92 got together.
Yeah, basically. But, form, a lot of, it's been said, form follows function. So we had to open that slide in order to give the clearance for the slide to cycle. So there is, it wasn't an aesthetical judgment, but more of a form function to be able to mount that optic to the top of the slide, to the top of the barrel, excuse me.
And it definitely does look boy racerish. So I guess for the people who are buying it to compete, it does look cool. Now, the slide looks like it's a little bit bigger than a regular TX22, right? Or no?
Yes, it is longer. The TX22 slide basically sits flush with the frame on the front. So like I said, this being a 5-inch slide or 5-inch barrel, we elongated the slide as well to accommodate us. So the recoil rod is steel, and it is longer than the regular TX22 is. So it does not interchange with the regular TX22. But it will come with the kit, or obviously with the firearm, it will come with the steel guide rod and spring.
Okay, good to know. And I guess all of them are still going to come with the manual thumb safety, or are there plans for ones without?
So not at this time. I think, it would make sense to have a non-safety model. So, that's still to be determined. But for now, it's not in the plan. We're launching it first with a manual safety. But again, to be determined if we'll do it or not, non-manual safety. But again, for those that have a TX22 without the manual safety and they buy the slide, kit, they can just like you're cleaning your gun and you unassemble the slide, you can slide the kit right on top of your frame normally, and it will self-lock just like the regular TX22 does.
Very cool. So one of the so before we go into the question, okay, very cool. And I would say actually the design and the safety on here is pretty much like the 1911, so I have no issues with it whatsoever. So with this gun, I mean, I would actually prefer it with a safety. So
it's all about preference, right? So we placed that manual safety. We designed the shape and the placement of it as ergonomically as it could be for either a small hand or larger hands. And for the most part, like, we haven't seen any complaints of where it sits or how it works or how easy it is to engage or disengage it. So we've been pretty satisfied so far on the reviews, the good and positive reviews on that.
Awesome. And so the gun comes with either 16-round magazines for free America or 10-round magazines for the other states, or
USSA.
And I will say, I'm not going to make any political jokes, but I think magazines might be coming to rest of America in the future.
Yeah, they may be unfree America for the rest. Unfree 10 rounds for, hopefully not, but we'll see what happens. But yes, the TX22 competition model will also come on a plastic hard case.
Awesome.
So it will include, like you mentioned, it will include the 3 16-round mags or 3 10-round mags. a little speed loader, and a lock, manuals, papers, and the 2 little plates. And on the box, it has enough space. I don't have a picture of the box on me or the box with me, but there's enough space. So once you mount your optic on top of the gun, you can just fit it right in. The foam is already cut out, so you can put your gun in it with your optic in it. So it's a nice little presentation case that you can carry to the range, have fun, and keep your goods protected.
Fantastic. And what's the price on this guy?
So the MSRP is $484, I believe. It is on our website, or right there.
Okay.
$484 and change, right?
So street price probably
below that. It's hard to tell right now, but
yeah, I mean that's the crazy part. So I'd say, I mean, because I can definitely see this being popular. I think anybody who has a TX22 is going to want a TX22 competition, and anybody who is on the fence about a TX22 is going to want a TX22 competition because it's going to push them over the edge.
Yeah, that's
so
what
I mean, let's say
in the comments.
So I guess I think when it comes out, it's going to be $484 to $450. But even at that price point, I mean, it's a full size. It's going to be an awesome training pistol for anybody who is competing in any center fire type matches. I think this is going to be an awesome training gun for people with bad vision, or it's a lot easier to teach them how to shoot through. Hey, just put the dot over. So this is going to do really, really well. And I'm sure my phone's going to be blowing up with text messages in the next couple of minutes. Hey, Max, can your friends at Taurus get me one? I'll pay whatever. But yeah, so the bottom end is all the same. The top end is all different. So
yeah,
very cool.
And the exciting thing, we're also coming out in this year with 3 new colors for the frame. They're molded, polymer colors. So those will be exciting as well. There's different distributors and dealers that are requesting. So right now we have the black, and we have an OD green and the FDE, and then we'll have this 3 new colors that one of them I'm pretty excited about, and the other 2 are also exciting, not so much for me, but they're cool colors, just not my cup of tea. But so watch out for those as well, later this year. I'm sure people will be asking pretty soon, when will this be available? So we haven't shipped any out to the stores yet, but we are scheduled into production for next week. So next week we are starting to build this. So they should be in stores, within the next couple of weeks. So as soon as we're building product, another thing to mention, this is also fully made and designed and built here in the U.S. So it's a U.S. made product, which is also pretty exciting to be able to offer a U.S. made product, especially at this crazy times. But as soon as we build product, they're tested and cleaned, and they're out the door. They're fulfilling orders. So unfortunately, nothing is sitting in the warehouse, because then it's hard for me to even buy anything that I want. But
very cool. All right, so let's go through. There's a bunch of questions, and guys, I did not forget them.
I do have one question real quick for George.
Yeah.
When did Heritage start making big bore revolvers?
So they've been we've been offering them for a while. I don't have the exact questions, but we have been offering them for a few years. I know it was before I even joined Taurus back in 2017. We already offered a big bore 357 and I believe 44 revolvers. We don't sell as many of those as we do. They're a little bit of a higher end finish, and obviously being a higher caliber, takes a little more money to make them. So they're priced a little bit higher than the regular 22 LRs, but we still sell them.
Cool. All right, so there's one question going back, and that's why I brought up the Heritage while we were talking about it. What would be even cooler, a threaded barrel? Yes. So
you're talking about the bar. You're going back to the Barkeep?
we're going to Barkeep, or even like a fretted revolver.
Yeah, we've talked about that. It's kind of a funny thing, but we're trying to see where that goes. We'll leave it at that. It's an interesting request there. Threaded barrel on a revolver.
Well, I mean, one of the cool parts is, so like if you have the old Mosin Nagant revolver, people fret that because it's a sealed chamber and it's stupid quiet. But even if I'm thinking about, you have a growth in handgun hunting, and if you can throw a suppressor on that, much like you would when you're going regular rifle hunting, that would be very, very cool. I mean, I would love that. I mean, I just think it would be awesome to dual wield a couple of revolvers with suppressors.
There's just such a cool, like, I've always been a big fan of revolvers. They just have that, like machine look, like just, it's just ever since I was a kid, I've always been fond of revolvers. I've always loved them. They just have a cool look to them that it's hard to compare to anything else.
Yeah. Cool. All right. So going back to the TX22, we already answered this one. So why such a far forward optic mount on the TX22 competition?
Yeah.
And as we discussed, so we can have it mounted directly to the barrel, and keeps the dot flatter and makes the gun more reliable.
Yep. So cool. Hopefully all those answer the question. KRD.
Was there actually, if somebody wanted to mill the slide, was there enough space to put a dot there if somebody really wanted to?
There is enough space. I've seen it done with the regular TX. So there's a guy on Facebook that I've been watching him. He's posting quite a bit of stuff, like milling slides for other people, and also doing a lot of practicing. He's using the TX22 to train, even with night vision and everything, since the cost of ammo is so high. He's been practicing and training with his TX22, and it's pretty fun to watch. And I wish I had more time to do that kind of stuff. And I think we all wish that, but there is enough space. You'd have to remove the rear sight and kind of utilize that space along with a little bit for the space in the front of the adjustable rear sight.
And I mean, this is just a much more eloquent solution. I mean, it's more effective to begin with. Plus, you're not making any permanent changes to the slide.
Yeah.
Okay. So one question with that came up is, can you co-witness them?
Yeah. So it depends on the, if you put, I guess, suppressor height sights, you should be able to co-witness. There's also some red dots that already have a co-witness rear sight, and they're fixed, machined rear sights into it. But you should be able to. You just have to use suppressor height sights.
Cool. All right. I will have to take a look into that myself. I'm betting that the barrel locks in more positively than the top slide for the optic. Yes, because so I think this is going back to the mass question. When you put more mass on there, the recoil has to you have to have more recoil and more energy to get it to lock positively. And this way, I mean, you have a reduced slide weight. So
yeah, I would agree with you.
Okay. Okay, so this is actually going back to the Heritage revolver. So any hope of at least getting your steel frame Heritage revolvers in states like Minnesota that don't allow for sale? Melting point laws. So this is regarding the Saturday night special laws.
So on the steel frame revolvers, we have been on the Heritage side. We have been working on those for a while, and the availability is kind of scarce right now. But we do make them with a steel frame for the states and for the melting law. I think it's more of a, if you're looking for it, ask your local store to request it from their dealer or their distributor. We do make them, and sometimes they're a little bit hard to find, and we don't make them as often I think as we should, even with that question coming up. So keep, maybe even should have him send you a message, and we'll see if we can help them locate Yukon 454. We'll see if we can help him locate one for his state.
Okay, so you can just send me a message, click on the channel about page, and you'll have my email address on there. And then you can also find me on Instagram, Facebook, Parlor. As soon as that up, or MeWe, just search for Slav Guns, you'll have that. Cool. All right, next. Does the optic need to come off to do a teardown for the cleaning?
No. So one interesting thing that I didn't mention before, so the regular TX22, when you disassemble that slide off of the frame and you take your recoil guide rod off of it, then your barrel comes down from the bottom of the slide. With this, with the TX22 competition, the barrel actually has to come off from the top. So you don't have to disassemble your optics at all. You just pull the whole slide off the gun, take your guide rod off, and then your barrel will go forward a little bit, and you can pull it from the top.
Very cool. Yeah. So that's great, because I mean, so one of the new red dots that just came out, which was the loophole, whatever, I forget the name of it.
Yeah, I forgot the model. I saw the
way that is, and I haven't been able to get a direct answer for that, but that needs to come off if you want to take the slide off of the gun. Because a lot of the guns, in order to rack it back, because you need to like rack the slide forward.
Yeah.
That hangs below the slide a little bit, or you'll have the ejector sticking out, so it will catch on that.
Yeah, that's interesting. I didn't even consider that. I saw that the launch of that new red dot, but I didn't. Sometimes you don't think about it until you try it.
So this is a great one. So I love anything Taurus. My dad bought the Taurus 94 for my uncle when I was little, and we wore out 3 firing pins and a barrel by the time we sold it. A lot of ammo on there.
Thank you, Joe. I appreciate it.
And I had a Taurus 94 myself. It's a very awesome gun, great value. And sold it. I sold it for more money than I paid for it.
I miss my Taurus 44 I had.
Looks like a custom holster will be required where the optic is located. Not that it's a big deal at all, but so yeah, this would require a new holster because it's longer, slide longer, everything.
Yes. So I've seen some holsters that they hold the firearm from kind of the trigger guard and the bottom, and you have the top of the holster basically open, so you can fit the optics or any kind of optics. I've seen some of those. I don't know.
Yeah, so that'd be like a holster like this guy, the Safari Land 015, which is like a competition holster.
Yes. Yeah. So yeah, exactly. So you have to look for a holster. We have been doing an awesome job at communicating product to the holster manufacturer, so we can have holsters made for it. This one is in the works, so we just keep eyes out, and you'll soon see it on other manufacturers, and we'll after we test them as well, we'll have those added to our web store, the Taurus shoptaurus.com.
Yeah, so then that's definitely, and one thing I would say is due to the design of this, so I mean, you can't expect a standard concealed carry type holster where you're going to have everything closed. So it'll cover the trigger guard, but you'll probably see an opening right around there, so you can put the plate and the red dot on there.
Yeah, and I've also seen those that it covers the front section of the barrel and the slide and your trigger guard, but basically it has a big cutout, an L-shaped cutout for your red dot. So that might be an option, that somebody may come up with, or may do it. So it's all each manufacturer of holster will design and do as they please, obviously. So we just, before we offer in our web store, we like to try it out and test it and make sure it's a good fit, and then we put it up.
And I'm sure we'll see a whole bunch of them on the rimfire 22 circuits.
Yeah.
It's immune unit looking. I enjoy 22 pistols. That's awesome.
Yeah.
I want one. I think a lot of people want one card shark.
Yeah.
So colors, I think you covered them. So at launch, it's going to be black, FDE, and
Well,
OD.
for long, like as far as what we have planned right now, it's only the black.
Black, okay.
Yeah. So for now, is only we're launching it in all black. So that may change in the near future as people request, and we do listen a lot to the customers and to what people are looking for or wanting. So we try to do a pretty good job at at providing what people are looking for. So
Definitely.
that's definitely a possibility. But again, if you already have an FDE or an OD green version, then you can just swap your slide off and put it on your OD green or FDE frames.
And then, as you mentioned, you will have just the frame, the top end kits available at some point.
Yes.
And I guess the advantage with that is you're not going to need a new pistol. Well, you're not going to need a permit, or you're not going to do a NICS check because, well, it's not the frame.
Yep, exactly. So that once we'll offer from our web store as soon as, like I mentioned before, we'll have it in the next couple of months. Add it to our web store. First, we want to get the gun out there as a full assembled pistol and the case and everything, and kind of meet most of the demand. And then we'll start building kits and add them to the web store for the people that already own the firearm. But we'll we will ship it straight to their address since it's not a serialized item. So
fantastic. And was there any rough timeline or ETA for the kits?
Yeah, like in the next 2 months we'll have it available.
Oh wow! I did not even expect that. I was thinking like much later. And so it's going to be in time for competition shooting season, and as soon as it starts getting warm, because I guess most people right now, between the cold weather and the high price of ammo, no one's really that excited to go shoot. But I think once March, April, May starts rolling around, no matter what the cost of ammo is, people will want to go out and they'll want to go shoot.
Yep, exactly. So, and for a while back, a couple of years ago, there was a shortage on 22 ammo. So I feel like a lot of people kind of build up a stock of, including myself, on 22 LR ammo. So I think it's a great time to be using those, considering the cost of regular 9 or 40 or 45 or whatever else you shoot. So this is just taking it to the next level, giving people the ability to practice better, to train more, and keep it, cost friendly. So
very cool. Very, 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 very cool. Fantastic. Awesome. All right, so let me see. Then we have nice. Now I wanted even more, and I don't recall at what point or at what comment that was discussing. So type a comment in there. And then I need one of these now. Yes, we all do. I'm really excited about it, and especially if you have like companies like Tandem Cross, who, I mean, they have the +5 bumper extensions. They have like some accessories that are made for competition, and now you actually have a firearm that goes along with some of those modifications that you can make.
Yeah, those guys have been great to work with. They've been working on a few different things for the TX22. I love seeing customization accessories come out because it just, again, gives people the ability to make it their own. So we also offer some of the Tandem Cross stuff on our website.
Oh, awesome.
So yeah, those guys are great. They've been doing some cool accessories. So check them out if you haven't seen it yet.
Fantastic. Yeah, and actually in the next week or two, I'm going to have a video on some of the top accessories for the TX22. So I don't have the TX22 competition, but we do have the TX22. Like I said, so I mean, I've had mine, you guys sent it to me maybe like 6 or 8 months ago, and pretty much every new shooter or every range trip, the TX22 is there. Plus, anytime I go outside in the garden or the yard, I have a TX22 with a suppressor. That's for taking care of critters that are unwelcome. Awesome gun, has been completely reliable. And once again, I have not. There's one malfunction which was specifically ammo related because, well, it's cheap 22.
Yeah.
But the gun has been completely flawless, and most of it has been shot with a suppressor. I'm just like so amazed, like it's that reliable, and once again, it's a full-sized handgun, which is awesome. And this is going to make a really, really good addition.
Awesome. I'm glad you guys like it.
Oh yeah, so the one thing people are excited about is the takedown part. So knowing that you can take it down without having to remove the dot is a big deal.
Yeah.
Yes, very.
All right. So that looks like we covered most of the questions. I guess, George, let me give you the opportunity just to kind of sum up, and anything else you have on your mind.
No, just keep an eye out for more product. I know this is kind of a crazy times right now with people trying to find product, and there's been some debate in why release new product when we're still trying to meet the demands out there. And again, I think from our perspective, there are a lot of new gun buyers, but I think again we also want to tailor to the old gun buyers, if that's the way I can put it, or people that already have firearms and just want to add more to their repertoire. I think it's important. It helps us to keep the industry alive with new product, and we've ramped up production quite a bit in all the models that we produce, both in Brazil and in the U.S. Even with the difficulties with the virus and the situation, we've pretty much almost doubled now on the heritage side in manufacturing products. So we're shipping them out as fast as we can, but we also want to keep the excitement for people that are looking forward. What else should I add to my collection, or I want to try something new. So keep an eye out. There's more product being launched throughout this year, as first quarter, second quarter. So we basically have a product for every quarter or more coming out. So keep an eye out, and you guys will, I hope, hopefully it will be as positive feedback and positive reception as we're having with the TX22 competition.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the TX22 was the handgun of the year. The Guns and Ammo handgun of the year was there for the presentation of that award. Awesome. I'm sure the TX22 competition is going to be, like I said, it's going to have a bigger impact on that niche market. And like I said, it's a really good handgun. And it's a timely product. It's a product that people will basically need today. So hopefully the production and the supply is going to be able to keep up with the demand for the gun. So
it is a niche market, but I think we'll hopefully be able to meet. I think even though it is a niche and we're tailoring to people that want to start shooting for competition, I can see a lot of people buying it just because it's cool. So,
absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
One question I completely skipped over, not related to this gun, which was, so last year at SHOT Show 2020, Taurus introduced the new 942 WMR. Where are they now?
Wow, that is a great question. So we have been making the small frame revolvers in Brazil. We've been making mainly the 856, but and we have shipped a lot of 942s and WMRs even. We've shipped thousands of them, but I don't have an exact number. I'm sorry if it's kind of hard to find right now, but we are making. That's all I can say is that we are making those and shipping them out. Not on the 942, not as much as it would be, regularly. There were some difficulties with the plant in Brazil had to kind of trim down because of the virus, and they're making as much as they can. But right now, it's just the demand is just out of this world. So keep looking for that 942 and Magnum. because I know they are out there. So
Yeah, and I would say this would be a good idea. And often people ask me, well, when somebody's a brand new gun owner, they're like, okay, well, should I go to my local gun store, or I can buy it for $10 less when I go to a bigger online retailer? And I would say this is a perfect scenario for where you want to have a good local relationship with your FFL, even if it's a little bit more money. You do support them, but to a large retailer, let's say even Cabela's or whatever, you're just a number. We're not going to remember your name. They don't know you.
exactly.
But your local FFL will. And what I recommend is once you've shopped at your FFL and once your FFL knows you by your first name and remembers your first name, have them, if you have a list of guns that you want them to keep an eye out on for you, give them that list. And most of them will have that. And they will make the time to go through the distributors, or if they see that firearm available, they'll be able to order it for you. So especially in times like these, I mean, the dealers are having a harder time getting inventory, but if there's something that you want, have a good relationship with a local FFL, support the local FFL, and they will in turn help you out as well with new releases or firearms that are a little bit more niche.
Yeah, 100% agree. It's worth paying the $20, $30 more at your local place so you can support that local business 100%.
Awesome. And I guess we'll let you go with this one. So can you let George know I have a Taurus PT92 from about 1995, over 30,000 rounds through it and still going.
Thank you,
and that's an awesome gun. So I mean, like, besides the newer stuff like the TX22 and the G3C, one of the two guns I have zero hesitations about recommending from Taurus are the PT 1911s, which I think are. So I think a 1911 is God's gift to Earth. I think it's the bestest gun design ever. And if you're looking for an entry 1911 without a massive price tag, but that's still going to have all of the features, the PT 1911 is an awesome 1911. And at the same time, the PT 92 is a good variant of the 92. So. Yeah. Those are two awesome handguns. I mean, Taurus has had issues along the way, growing pains, but I have zero qualms.
Who hasn't?
Yeah, I think every manufacturer, everyone that makes a machine that with moving parts has experienced issues along the way. So we have for 100% improved in the quality, and we've been working very hard on improving every aspect of the business, on the brand, and trying to make it a better brand. And as you can tell by the success of the TX22, the G3C, the G2C, the G3. So those are basically, I agree with you on the 1911 and the PT92. Those are God's given gifts to us, but we have been basically improving on many things internally, and the product tells the story itself. So, but thank you, Drew Bradley, for sharing your story of 30,000 rounds through a PT92. That's awesome.
Awesome. All right, so we covered a whole bunch of your questions, guys. We've looked at 3 new guns, well, 2 new guns, and one of which is 2 variants. So I'm looking forward definitely to those. George, thank you very much for joining us. And guys, if you have questions and
thank you
in the replay, so I know a lot of people are watching this in the replay, just leave them in the comments below. I'll make sure to get you answers. If I know the answer, I will answer those. If I don't know, I know that people who can answer those questions, and we'll definitely address those. And then if you're interested in any of these, go hit up your dealer and put your name on the wait list, and you'll get them. Awesome. Well, thank you very much. And I guess we'll see you next time, George.
All right. Sounds good. Hopefully soon. Hopefully this shows open up and we can travel and be able to are able to meet face to face again and enjoy each other's companies and see what's new out there. So thank you for having me, and it's a pleasure. So
thank you very much, sir.
Thank you, George. Have a good day.
Awesome. So what do you think?
I'm impressed with the TX22, and I think it's going to be a good little seller for somebody who just wants a good target pistol to go out and plinking with. I definitely think it's going to put a market on the like the Mark IV series of pistols, maybe the Brownings. It's going to be right there. I think it's going to be in that popularity area. Honestly, I haven't even got my hand on the original TX22. I haven't seen any on the shelf up here where I live.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Wow. I love my little TX22. Like I said, I haven't cleaned it once. I feel bad. But I am going to go clean it. I'm going to be forced to go clean it when I put the accessories on. And I'm looking forward to the range trip, but that's going to be good. All right, so we have a couple of minutes. I do see our next guests are already there hanging out.
Okay.
So whenever we're ready, we'll just type in the private chat that we're good to go, and then we'll bring them on. But in the meantime, so we have a couple of minutes. I know you're a fan of this one. I got an email from more new gun releases, so we'll cover this one real quick. We have new gun releases from Browning.
Okay.
And they have a couple of guns in one of your favorite calibers. I'll guess what is it?
300 PRC.
No.
No.
No, not 300 PRC.
280 actually?
Yes, it is.
Oh.
So let me actually pull this one up. What email was Browning? There we go. Let's see. They have it on the website. Okay, this is not going to work. Let me see.
Oh, I did do some more research on that new Savage competition shotgun last night.
Okay.
Now, Savage is doing everything on that. They designed the stock, they designed everything. So they're not using any third-party companies when it comes to that stock. That is their model of an ACU stock for a shotgun. It's probably why the price is so high, because of the R&D going into everything on it.
All right. So we have the X-Bolt and hey, what the heck? Oh, come on. Okay. So the X-Bolt rifles are now available in 280 AI. Ooh, well, this is actually the X-Bolt long range burnt bronze is in 6.5 PRC, 30. No one cares about Nosler, and 300. Sorry, I had to do that.
No, I don't care.
And then the X-Bolt target in 6.5 PRC.
See, I really want to get my hands on one of those X-Bolt targets.
The X-Bolt is a very nice rifle.
It is. The only downfall that really sucks about the X-Bolt is the proprietary scope base.
Okay.
That's because on each side of it, the bolts are marked like an X. So you need a proprietary base. It's not like a basic Remington 700 or anything like that.
Very cool.
But I do want to get a hold of one of those Macmillan A3 ones. That's
cool. All right. So I think there's a couple others, but we'll talk them later. So our next guests are going to be, I can't see in that little image who it is, but we're going to have Darkstorm come on. And I know they're usually a company that loves going to SHOT Show. They're usually a fixture at Media Day, and everybody knows Darkstorm for Darkstorm Norm.
mm-hmm.
And it's a company I've had the pleasure of knowing them for a couple of years now. They've come out to the range. We've done a number of videos. I've played with a number of their firearms, and they are just totally awesome.
They're one of the first companies I did videos with back at TriggerCon 2018.
Oh yeah, there's TriggerCon. There's that other show that they did out there.
Yep.
So let's bring them on. And once again, so if you have questions for them or for anybody, we're going to give them the floor. We're going to go for some of our questions. and then we will go back through and answer all of the questions. Once again, if you guys want to support the channel, send a super chat, become a Squad member, and we will address those questions very quickly. All right, so let's get the ball in the roll, and I'm going to bring them on. All right. Hello, gentlemen.
Hey, there we are.
I see Brett.
What's going on?
How's it going, guys?
And Ed. How are you?
We're good.
Yes.
So you guys are playing with the new studio setup. So over the last 24 hours, I've gotten like a whole bunch of emails from Kevin like, hey, we're going out. So I appreciate the good sound, and the image quality looks pretty good as well. And I see I see one familiar firearm, possibly two. And I see something that's a little bit interesting that I don't know what it is. So we shall discuss those. But I guess the first one, so thank you guys for coming on. I know people watching the channel, they love Darkstorm products, love the logos, and you do have a couple of fans in the chat. We've had people that have met you over the years as well. So we're excited to see what you guys are doing. But here's a question that I ask everybody. What are your takes on SHOT Show being canceled? And are you happy that you don't have to go there, or irritated that you're not meeting all your friends?
What are our takes on SHOT Show being canceled?
Huge disappointment.
Yeah, definitely disappointment. All the logistics have been planned ahead of time, and I don't like this. I can hear myself. I'm gonna give this to Ed.
You're good.
It's talking over me, bouncing off, and I just hear myself talking.
See, when you get the fancy toys, it takes a little bit of practice to get them, but that's why we have you on here.
This is true.
All right, give that a shot. Can you talk and hear yourself?
Check 1, 2.
There you go.
No.
Okay. I don't know how we're going to do this. Relay the questions?
Yeah. All right. So what's the first question then?
So how do you guys
Question.
I think it was, how do we feel about SHOT Show being canceled?
Yeah.
No.
So like just your takes on SHOT Show being canceled and the impact.
So SHOT Show being canceled was obviously a huge disappointment for everybody in the industry, ourselves included. We had a much larger booth planned for this year. We were excited about the new location in the new Caesars Forum Event Center. And, in some ways, though, it was also a blessing in disguise, because the events of this year have driven, obviously, a massive increase in sales volume. And that's put most manufacturers, ourselves included, in a rethink position as to what our priorities were. And like many others, we focused on increasing our production rather than new product development. So some of what we had intended to release at SHOT Show this year is lagging behind and probably won't be available for production for another 6 to 12 months.
So we've talked with a lot of larger companies. We've had Taurus on, we've had Ruger on, talked to a couple others, just how they're struggling to keep up with the demand. What is a smaller company, a mid-sized manufacturer such as Darkstorm? How are you guys dealing with the increase in demand that we haven't seen ever?
So, like everybody else, and it goes to all levels of the supply chain, the increase in demand is a huge struggle. I often say that you can measure what the sales capability is. You can't measure what the demand actually is. So we've seen a sales increase of roughly 400%. Now, theoretically, the demand is still greater than that. And if you think about the negative implications to a buyer of saying that you can buy this today, but we're not going to deliver it for 6 months plus, that turns a lot of buyers off. And we're still seeing sales in the 400% increase range. So the theoretical demand, if we had everything able to be delivered immediately, is probably even greater than it's definitely unprecedented.
Yeah.
On the good side, for a company like us, we manufacture a lot of the components for the rifle in-house. That has given us a lot more capabilities to scale that up. In call it a slower year, we're running a single shift during the day. When we're in peak demand like now, we're running pretty close to 3 shifts 24/7. The choke points have still been various components that we don't manufacture that are industry standard items that we've seen increased lead times on. And then we've also seen a lot of delays on raw material. We had today shut down one of the CNC machines because we ran out of lower receiver forgings. We're supposed to get more next week. It'll be back up and running, but it's been a delicate balance of trying to keep the supply of even raw materials coming in. There was a shortage of aluminum plate, which is the billet that makes, for example, our Typhoon upper and lower earlier. And that had an impact on a lot of people in the industry. We had thankfully had stocked up a fair bit, and we were able to keep running. But it's been a challenge across the board. Everybody is just stretched thin.
Yeah. Whoa, that was I'm like, that is not a sound that comes on over here. So I'm familiar with Darkstorm. Derek is familiar with Darkstorm, and some of our viewers are familiar with Darkstorm. But let me just give you the floor to introduce yourself to the greater community, to the thousands of people that are going to be watching you. Who is Darkstorm, and kind of like, what's your bread and butter? And for lack of a better word, what makes you awesome?
I'll pass that one over to Brett. So kind of the question is, who is Darkstorm? What is our bread and butter products? What's our claim to fame? What do we do different? What makes us awesome is the end question.
So what it is that we produce is a premium price point AR with 5 different configurations of each model to meet the legal needs of all 50 states. So that being said, whether you live in a state like Texas or Florida or New York or California, if you like something like our DS-15 Typhoon, we have a different configuration for regardless of which state that you live in. We are a manufacturer. We do produce, I would say, probably close to 70%, if not more, of the components in-house on our own machines. We are 100% American made. Everything is backed with a lifetime warranty. We try to compare ourselves, with some of the other products on the market within the same or similar price point. So you'll find, we use a lot of billet aluminum with our uppers and lowers. We use ambidextrous controls, the free float handguards, just a nicer fit and finish overall. We're very similar priced AR on the market. You're going to find forgings. You're going to find very standard basic mil spec parts. So we do separate ourselves, from some of the competition out there.
And so I'm glad you brought it up because, and we were just having, I'm glad you brought it up because we were just having this discussion with George with Taurus, and I didn't even know this, but in the handgun world, I mean, they can't have their aluminum handguns in Minnesota because apparently the melting point is different. But Darkstorm, I mean, you, as you said, I mean, you made yourself as the 50 states legal company. So can you talk about some of the bigger differences between the products that you would offer in the compliant states versus free America, or at least free America for now? And how does a company such as Darkstorm, I mean, how do you even go about keeping up with the changes and knowing what product is legal?
So some of the different configurations that we have for the different states will follow what the restrictions are in the law, and it's a constant, ongoing struggle to keep up with the latest, greatest changes, vet out what is proposed legislation versus what's actually passed, and then a lot of the states have moved to simple interpretation changes in order to make things illegal. One of the battles that we fight is here in New York, the firearm Non-NFA configuration. While it meets the letter of the law, the state has made the decision that it is considered an SBR, short barrel rifle, and not a firearm Non-NFA, and therefore they consider it illegal. So yeah, it's an ongoing project to do that. So some of the configurations to run through, our standard configuration, which is what you'll see here on the DS-15 Typhoon, is your typical AR-15 type configuration. An adjustable stock, it's got a pistol grip, a detachable magazine, a muzzle device of some sort, etc. That's going to be legal in your Florida, your Texas, your Pennsylvania, all of the, for now, free states. Some of the more most restrictive states, the assault weapon language in it prohibits any of those features, such as the adjustable stock, the pistol grip, the muzzle device, with a semi-automatic and the ability to accept a detachable magazine. So the next version is our FX series, or our fixed magazine, that includes a non-detachable magazine. So these are popular in New York, Connecticut, Massachusetts, Washington, D.C., California, where somebody wants the pistol grip, they want the adjustable stock, they want that feel of a traditional AR, but they can't have the detachable magazine with it. For some of those states, we also offer a featureless configuration, which instead of the pistol grip and the adjustable stock, would have a Thorson fixed rifle stock, or it's a variation with a different curved stock. We don't have one here to show you, unfortunately.
And I can pull it up on the website.
That would have a non-threaded barrel, so it has none of the features. Yeah, we can drop one into the in a photo later on. One of the more popular configuration, and this is both in restricted states and unrestricted states, is that firearm non-NFA, and that's what you'll see up front here. Those are not a pistol, not a rifle. It's a non-NFA item because it's over 26 inches and therefore not designed to be concealable. It utilizes a pistol brace on the rear, pistol grip, detachable magazine. We use a 12.5-inch barrel. That makes it compliant in Connecticut. You need to have greater than a 12-inch barrel there. And then it has to have a vertical grip on the front because it's designed to be fired with two hands. So it's a nice compact package. It's very popular in the restricted states that allow it, New Jersey and Connecticut in particular. But it's also, we sell a ton of them outside of the restricted states. Again, Florida, Texas, Pennsylvania, Oklahoma, Colorado, because it is a nice compact package.
And my understanding of it is, I mean, we have a whole bunch of people watching this in New Jersey right now because we're streaming live to njgunforums.com. Plus, we have usually a ton of people from New York and Connecticut watching. But for people living in free America, let's say Pennsylvania, Florida, Texas, the advantage to a non-NFA, such as the V1 that you have up there, would be that it essentially allows you to have a vertical foregrip on an otherwise AR pistol.
That's correct. It's basically an extended AR pistol with the mandate that it has a vertical foregrip. If you put a second grip on the typical AR pistol, that puts you into the AOW classification or any other weapon, and that is a NFA regulated item. There are also benefits in certain free states in terms of being able to have this in your vehicle in a loaded configuration because it's not a pistol. And in certain states, having a loaded pistol in your vehicle without a concealed carry is a concealed weapon. So again, it makes a nice truck gun, so to speak.
Yeah. So, I mean, other firearms looking at the NICS data, let me rephrase that. Non-NFA firearms have been the most popular selling firearms in New Jersey and as far as, in Connecticut as well. Do you continue to see that trend going forward? And one of the questions that usually pops up is, you have rumors of dealers selling them in New York State.
Yeah, so I'll let Brett talk a little bit about the popularity of the firearm non-NFA and where that fell in our sales numbers for this past year and where we expect it to come next year.
It actually superseded every other configuration that we had last year. It's not a new configuration. It's been around for several years. It's only become popular because recently Jersey and Connecticut both basically put in writing that this was legal in their states. And those states kind of stepped up and took over the market for us as far as sales went. So as far as popularity goes, if your other option was permanently fix your magazine or have a model that has a detachable magazine and features, it's pretty obvious that folks are going to turn to a non-NFA over a fixed mag rifle. That's sort of what we've seen take hold. We have had a lot of questions in regard to, I guess, prolonged legality. What would happen if they changed the law and this was in their possession? We don't have answers for that. Whether or not it's going to be grandfathered or if they're even going to change the law. We don't foresee that happening anytime soon. But yeah, I'd say overwhelmingly non-NFAs have become the leading seller for us.
As far as the legality in New York State, there have been a couple unfortunate incidents recently where individuals and dealers have gotten into legal trouble as a result of either possession or sale of these. The vast majority of dealers in New York do not sell them, and they are aware of that. Certain jurisdictions have put it in writing in notification. I guess step back 1 second so a lot of people understand. In New York, all of the firearm dealers are licensed by the state. In general, that licensing is administered on a county level. So you have the county law enforcement agency having a relationship with the dealers as a result of that licensing. A number of the counties have put in writing to the dealers in their counties that they are not legal based on the state police determination that they're short-barreled rifles. Whether you agree with that or don't agree with it, that is the issue at this point. There was a recent called a discussion or forum in one of the upstate counties where it was brought up to the county district attorney, and the district attorney did reach out to the state police again. This was in 2020, and the state police did confirm to them that indeed their interpretation is that it is a short-barreled rifle, and if you are found to be in possession, you can be arrested and prosecuted. Whether they'll be successful in the end is to be determined. But that is where we stand with that right now. So they've been pretty much held to line on that. We've continued to investigate legal options to challenge that. Unfortunately, it is a expensive and not likely victorious outcome of that. And then hypothetically, even if we were successful in a challenge to that, to vindicate the items as being legal under the letter of the law, the challenge becomes with the current political environment in New York. They could easily just legislate that change and put it into the law, and then we're back to square one. So to spend $100,000 on a legal challenge that in the end they can just basically snap their fingers and we're back to it being illegal doesn't seem to make sense. We continue to try to lobby our elected officials for any correction on that interpretation. But in the current political climate, we're not expecting to see anything anytime soon, unfortunately.
Yeah. So since we're on the topic of the non-NFA firearms, can you briefly, one of the questions pops up, but I would love it for you to answer it, is can somebody, if they wanted to, change the pistol grip or the vertical foregrip on their firearm? And you can basically lead that to, then can you talk about the differences in the various non-NFA firearms and just the various product lines, what somebody gets in the Typhoon versus going up to the variant one?
Sure. So I guess I have to precedent this by saying we're not attorneys and we can't give legal advice. And you should, fully research before you make any change to a firearm you've purchased, both from a safety issue as well as a legal issue. But fundamentally, the requirement for under the ATF's regulation for a firearm non-NFA is that it's designed to be fired from two hands. So functionally, the two critical pieces on it are the pistol grip at the rear and the vertical grip in the front. So fundamentally, if you want to remove the vertical grip and replace it with a different vertical grip, so long as it is a true vertical grip, you should be okay. But again, you need to do your research on that fully before you entertain any modifications. And then I'll let Brett take us through the differences between the various non-NFA models, the MOE, the Typhoon, the Variant 1.
So yeah, we do have 3 different models. The MOE is a price point model. I would not say it's a popular model, but if you're looking to get into one, sub $1,000, that MOE is a good option. A lot of people immediately like to see the non-NFA come with an SB tactical brace. They're kind of leading the market right now in braces. The MOE model does not come with an SB brace. It's a CAC brace. It's made by AAC, I believe. Is that the company?
KAK.
KAK. Makes that brace that's on the MOE. Shockwave. It's a less popular option, but it's an affordable option. Typhoon is very similar to our flagship and most popular rifle. All the similarities are the same: the Firestorm comp, the free float M-lock handguard, the ergonomical rubber hoe grip, and the SPA3 tactical brace. You get all your MB controls. By far, that was our #1 selling model for 2020. And the variant 1, which functionally is very similar to the Typhoon, just aesthetically, spends a lot more time on the machine. Nicer fit and finish, is both anodized and Cerakote, and a little bit tighter tolerances because it is designed to be sold as a complete unit as opposed to stripped receivers. So we do have those tolerances tightened up a little bit on the variant 1.
Very cool. And that is a very pretty rifle. I've done a number of videos with that gun, and it's awesome. And one of the things I love the most about it is the break is super loud and it's super effective.
Yes, the variant 1 uses our competition compensator brake. It's in a expansion chamber based muzzle device. So that means when the round exits the barrel, there's a small area where the gas is able to expand to a larger diameter, and then it's constricted back down. So as the tail of the bullet passes through that constriction, all the gas is in that expansion chamber, and there are venting ports up top. So that's super effective in terms of reducing the muzzle lift. It then also has standard braking and compensation features built into it. So it provides a extremely effective muzzle device, particularly on a short barrel like the 12.5 on non-NFAs. And we do have that competition compensator on 5.56, on our 308s, our 9mm, and even on a 458 SOCOM, where it's proven unbelievably effective at reducing the recoil and muzzle lift.
Yeah. And so moving on from the non-NFAs, which have been awesome and a terrific product, extremely popular, but one of the places where I see you as one of the leaders in the space again is with the fixed mag pistols and the fixed mag rifles. And considering that more than 40% of the gun owners live in a restrictive state, what are some of the reasons why somebody should consider a fixed mag option as opposed to a featureless build?
So it's really the difference between fixed mag and featureless is going to be a lot of personal preference. Depending on the intended usage of the gun, obviously having a detachable magazine is a tremendous benefit. But sometimes there are ergonomic reasons, or the gun is not intended to be a working or an emergency gun. It's just strictly for recreational use. That's a good option for the fixed magazine. There are also some jurisdictions where the featureless is not an option. So the fixed mag gives you the ability to have a semi-automatic rifle regardless of where you live. The other thing that was a fundamental game changer, we developed the fixed mag, I guess, going on 7 years ago now. Mm-hmm. But the introduction by two different companies, one we work with a lot called Bear Flag Defense, who's out in California, of a speed loader that loads through the ejection port. That allowed the ability to rapidly reload a fixed magazine rifle or pistol, similar to the clip on the old M1 Garands, where you could rapidly change it, but it's not considered a detachable magazine. It definitely does take some practice to be able to do that effectively and reliably, but that offers a good option to quickly be able to reload your fixed magazine rifle or pistol. Brett, anything you want to add on that?
They designed the speed loader to kind of ergonomically shape similarly to a 30-round magazine. So those of you who have not seen it, it's designed to fit into a taco pouch, whether it be on your plate carrier or your battle belt. So if you are running tactical drills, again, a little bit more muscle memory. There's a learning curve, but it does allow you to deploy those speed loaders as you would a magazine or a 30-round magazine out of that same pouch.
Awesome.
The negative, obviously, being you only have 10 rounds in it.
And I would say, so, to me, one of our friends who lives in Massachusetts, he's like, oh, I'm building a fixed magazine gun. Or you hear of all the people in California. I'm like, wow, that must suck. But then even here in Pennsylvania, we had one person who was from New York and visiting, and I saw that speed loader thing. And I'm like, dang, that's pretty dang quick. And that's when I sent you a message. I'm like, so when is Brett coming over so we can play with those fixed magazine options?
Yeah, so I guess Brett will have to get a trip out to Pennsylvania to bring some fixed mags so you can we can get you trained up on how to run it. Hopefully we don't go the route of that becomes the standard for the entire country. but that is a possibility.
So I know Derek, when he played with some of your guns, one of his favorite was you had an AR-10 that you made as well. I guess if you can speak about your firearms, I guess, do you see most of the trends break down 223, 9mm, or do you possibly see trends going towards the large frames, such as the AR-10 market, and any plans for like 6.5 Grendel, 6mm arc, and all those fun toys?
So in terms of the popularity of the calibers, Brett, I would say 5.56 still probably makes up 80% of what we sell. It's definitely the mainstay and the entry point for people buying their first AR platform rifle. The DS10, which was our large frame, is kind of, we view it at this point as really a dinosaur. The platform design, everybody's trying to follow a theoretical Remington DPMS pattern. There have been a number of changes to that pattern over the years, and it's kind of, I guess, from an engineering standpoint, a little bit of a hack job. The DS10 is at this point in the process of being discontinued.
Correct.
9mm is still a popular option. That's a blowback. Again, engineering-wise, not a great design, but is still kind of the mainstay of what's being produced in the 9mm market. As far as 6.5 Grendel or some of the other cartridges, we did do some 6.5 Grendel a couple of years ago. We've done a few short runs in 224 Valkyrie. Again, not that popular. 6.8 SPC we did.
50 Beowulf.
We did a little bit of 50 Beowulf. We do some 458 SOCOM still. Decent amount of 300 Blackout. I'd say probably about on par with 9mm. And then on the large caliber side, I guess we'll say, don't tell anybody. We are a little bit behind schedule, but the plan was originally to introduce at SHOT Show this year our DS25. So we have started releasing some information on that. And we do have some of the dealers and distributors taking pre-orders. But we probably won't be delivering those for about 6 more months. So what we decided to do was to take the known AR-15 platform, the DS-15, which we know is a good platform. It works in every way, shape, and form, and merge in the best of the DS-10. So we took 10 plus 15. Well, that got us to 25. So the DS-25 is going to be our new 308 platform rifle. And the goal from an engineering standpoint was to design that into an AR-15 in every sense possible. And there have been a number of companies that have done mid-size and even some close to AR-15 308 rifles, but we feel we're going to be the most evolved in terms of using standard AR-15 parts. And it's our intent to offer that in our standard configurations, our non-NFA, our standard, our fixed mag, etc. It'll be initially available in our Typhoon. And unfortunately, I can't hold one here because of our social media rules. But hypothetically, if I were to hold one on top of this Typhoon, you'd have a hard time telling the difference between the two from 5 feet away or from a video screen. So again, the key is to really make it as much as possible an AR-15 to the point of the majority of the components. The lower parts kit will be a standard AR-15 lower parts kit. Buffer system will be a standard AR-15 buffer system. The proprietary stuff would be obviously the lower receiver, the upper receiver, the bolt carrier, and the barrel. And that leads us to, initially it will be offered as complete firearms. It's also our intent, since there are a lot of people who do like to build their own specialized stuff out there, to offer it as a builder's kit, which would include the upper, the lower, the bolt carrier, and the barrel. And then you'd actually probably include the buffer tube too, because it is a proprietary buffer tube. And then you'd be able to supply the rest of the parts as standard AR-15 parts. So a standard AR-15 handguard, standard AR-15 lower parts kit, standard AR-15 charging handle. Obviously, you need a 308 muzzle device, but that'll be a standard AR-10 one. So again, the intent to make it as much dimensionally and functionally AR-15. And I got to say, Brett and Kevin and a lot of the other guys here have run thousands and thousands of rounds through our prototypes of that. And it almost, I will say, shoots smoother and lighter than an AR-15 in 5.56. It's unbelievable, because we've been able to pull all of that mass that makes the AR-10 and the DS-10 have such recoil out of the gun, that it's a super, super smooth shooter with very limited recoil.
It's light. It's got to be, what, 10 pounds?
Oh, no, it's under 7 pounds. It's pretty much the same as a regular AR-15.
And now you have
And yes, we will get one of them out to you pretty soon.
You have my attention, and I was looking at building a 6GT gas gun this year.
Now,
so unfortunately, like I said, we're probably 6 months away from delivering complete firearms, and probably close to a year from being able to have enough production capability to deliver builders kits on it. But we're super excited about it, and I think even the price point on it is going to be a real game changer, because it's going to be a price point that's not significantly higher than the current DS-15s.
Yeah. And hopefully by then the ammo prices are going to come back down to a little bit more realistic numbers. But just having the flexibility to do that would be awesome. And while we're on that topic, it just popped into my head. What about making a semi-auto large format gun, such as, let's say, 338 Lapua, or something along those lines? Because I think there's only one company that's doing those today.
Yeah, they're out of Belgrade, Montana.
Yeah, so I guess the challenges with doing a real large format like a 338 is just it's still a very limited market for that. I think getting into something, particularly in a semi-automatic, maybe a 300 Win Mag might be a little more economically viable. But the reality is probably where it sits on the priority list is pretty far down. We've got, I'd probably say, at least 5 years worth of new product designs and development planned out that we think are going to be higher volume and have more market interest than that. Unfortunately, it's like we get people occasionally that ask for a 10 millimeter DS9 and things like that, and there's just not. I hate to say, the reason that not many people are doing things in the industry is generally because there's not enough market demand to meet the needs of 5 or 10 or 50 manufacturers making, say, a 10 millimeter AR pistol or a 338 Lapua semi-automatic rifle.
Yeah. So I wasn't even going to bring up 10 millimeter because I know it's a cultish round, but one of our friends, and you know who you are, you have your answer, and I didn't even have to ask the question about 10 millimeter. But one of the things that you guys did really big last year was introduce new hard coat anodized upper and lower receivers. And we've had a couple of comments in the chat that I've seen already on that bronze. And well, the V1, the gray is just phenomenal. So if you can talk about the hard coat anodized finishes and perhaps how that's different versus getting a receiver set and getting it Cerakoted or finished yourself.
Sure. So, obviously black has been the most popular color for a number of years. And if you wanted anything other than black, you generally had to either rattle can it yourself or use a spray applied finish like a Cerakote. We do still use the Cerakote in tungsten on our variant 1. One thing to mention on that is the variant 1 is anodized first before it is Cerakoted. That is key in the process. You don't want to Cerakote raw aluminum because the Cerakote is very brittle, and if it's over a soft surface like raw aluminum, it can chip easy. So you always want to have that. Make sure you're going over it anodized. So the military has been messing around with for a couple of years with these colored hard coats on some of their contracts since the last 20 years now. We've been fighting the wars in the Middle East. So they were looking to get away from a black firearm. And the obvious advantage to a anodized finish versus some of the other sprayed finish is it is a crystal growth on the surface, so it is extremely durable. And the challenge has always been just trying to get that into a dyed color with the consistency that the public wanted. And I guess we'll say FN with the SCAR kind of brought on the 50 Shades of FDE concept. And that's actually proven to be a good selling point of it. A lot of people like the breakup of having the different finishes. Functionally, and some people don't know this, on a lot of the rifles, the handguards that are extruded are going to be made out of a 60-61 aluminum. You basically can't extrude 70-75, but the upper and lower are going to be 70-75. Because the alloy is different, it takes the anodizing different. The crystals grow slightly differently. As the crystals only grow on aluminum, they don't grow on any of the other alloyed material. As such, you'll get a little bit more of a bronzy or speckled metallic look on the upper and the lower receiver as compared to the handguards. So that's where we get the breakup color on that. And again, if you're looking at it from a cosmetic standpoint, it's a unique look. It's an attractive look. It's a very durable finish. The other thing that people ask, well, if the upper and the lower are both 70-75, why does it look differently on there? And there's two answers to that. The first of which is whether it's forged or it's billet, there's a grain structure that goes in the aluminum, and the anodizing grows in a particular manner with that grain structure. So in the case of our products, our lower receivers are made with the grain structure, I guess when you'd say an up and down axis, where the upper receivers come with it, the grain structure is in a side-to-side axis. So that is part of why you get a little bit of different color on the anodizing for our uppers and our lowers. The second is the colors are super sensitive to the amount of growth on there. The mil spec calls for 1/1000th of an inch. So that's about 1/4 of the thickness of a sheet of paper for that anodized crystal growth. And there generally is a variance of 20% up or down on that. And if you look at some of the, for example, the copperhead firearm that's right there, you can see the color difference between the upper and the lower. That's likely 1/10,000th of an inch difference in the thickness that's resulting in some of that color difference. So it's kind of a little bit of art more so than science, and it gets us a different look. But again, it's for a lot of people like that look. It's different, it's unique, and it gets you a little bit of breakup. If everything matches exactly from a camouflage standpoint, you have a very defined outline. Whereas most of your traditional camouflage, the concept is going to be to break that up. So by breaking that handguard off with a slightly different color, the upper and the lower slightly different color, obviously your plastic and rubber pieces are going to have slight different color variations to it. From a distance away, you get actually a moderately effective camouflage just from having the different colors.
Yeah. And I'm glad that you brought up 50 Shades of FDE with the scar, because prior to the scar, it's like, oh, I don't want to do this because it doesn't match. Then when the scar came out, the first 6 months were like, why doesn't it match? And then now it seems like the trend is, let me see how many different shades of one color I can put on the gun.
Exactly. And, when it comes down to, even just the difference of plastic versus aluminum versus different things, it's interesting when you go back to the Cerakote. If you spray Cerakote over different materials, you can end up with slightly different shades of them just based on the different materials and the subsurface color. So, people were going nuts trying to get exact matches on things, which was nearly impossible. And now kind of everybody's adopted I want to be different. I want to see that breakup in there, and I want to see different colors. Oh, I don't want one that's the same color. How do I get something that's different?
Yeah. And I have the image from the website pulled up where you have the copperhead brown, the OD green, and the flat dark earth, so people can see that up close. And you do see a little bit of a shade of difference. Now, how can somebody just buy the receivers, or are they available on your firearms? Or how do you offer them?
So we do offer the upper and lower receivers as sets, as well as the handguards are available as a separate piece, or they could buy a complete firearm.
Very cool. So one of the questions that I usually will ask people that come on is, you work at a company, you can pretty much have any of your firearms. What's your favorite and why?
All right, so I'll toss this to Brett first. So, conceptually, you can have any of our firearms. What's your favorite gun that we make and why?
Probably the wrong person to ask. All my guns are black. I would typically probably lean towards the Black Typhoon 5.56. That's just my preference. I do like the competition compensator over the Firestorm, just because of how flat shooting it actually is. The Firestorm comp is a little concussive compared to the competition comp. Also, I like the drop-in 4-pound trigger that we offer as an upgrade. During the time you make your order, your purchase, it's a $100 upgrade. There's a little fly-out menu for it. You can add it to any order or any build. It's a very crisp, lightweight 4-pound break and a quick reset. That trigger by itself retails for about $170, which a lot of people end up upgrading the trigger after they receive the gun anyway. So ordering that upgrade at the time you make your purchase for $100 is a great deal, for that upgrade. Another upgrade we offer is the nickel boron bolt carrier. As opposed to the Phos Chrome, nickel boron requires a lot less maintenance. You don't have to lubricate it as often, makes cleaning a breeze. It just wipes off the surface with a simple rag and some cleaner. That nickel boron upgrade at the time you make your order is only a $50 upgrade, where if you did order that BCG at a later date, you're going to spend $200 plus for a nickel boron BCG. So 2 really nice upgrades you can add to any of our DS15 rifles.
So I would say on my side, I'm kind of a little bit old school. Kind of call it my work gun is basically a 12.5-inch Typhoon SBR with a rattle can Cerakote kind of paint job on it. It does have a 4-pound trigger in it. It does have the nickel boron upgrade, as Brett mentioned. Those are both great options. The most fun gun for me is probably the DS9 Hailstorm. 9mm, it's a great little plinking round. If you can get to a range that has steel plates at 25 to 50 yards, not that 9mm 33 round stick in it, and the conical flash deflector on there. There are a red dot on there, and just ding, 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 ding. It's just so much fun to shoot. So much fun.
And here I thought you were going to say that your favorite was going to be the gun that you designed, the V1.
So the V1 was actually designed by Ed Earl, not by myself. I'm just the one who makes it. I'm the one who had to take the napkin sketch and figure out how to make it producible. But Ed Earl's the gentleman who we owe the design concept to.
Very cool. So since Brett brought up the question of ordering and upgrading, what's the best way for somebody to order one of your firearms? Is it going to be to order directly through your website, or is it going to be to go through a dealer? And what is there going to be a difference in the time frame?
So the question is, what's the best way for somebody who's interested in purchasing one of our firearms to procure it, whether it's through our website or through a dealer? Is there any difference in pricing? Is there any difference in lead time?
So I would say your best option at this point is to contact your local dealer. Depending on where you live, your dealer may already have back orders in the system on order. If that's the case, you might be able to leave a deposit or secure one of those for yourself, that is coming in. If you order from us directly, we estimate lead times could be 10 months to a year. There's a lot of unforeseen variables, that are kind of coming our way. As for, availability, or what it would cost out of pocket, the advertised price, you're probably going to see no change in price if you order from us directly. If we say that the gun is $12.95, it's always going to be $12.95, regardless if there's a higher demand or lack thereof. Where some of the other dealers have increased prices, because you can't get the guns anywhere else. You might see those for an extra 100 or 200 added to that price tag. The trade-off of ordering through us directly and shipping it, you're going to pay shipping fees. You're going to possibly pay a transfer fee when you go to pick up your firearm, where if you ordered it through your local dealer, and they do have an account or set up an account, that they're going to eat those shipping and transfer fees. So you're going to save money there. So that's entirely up to you.
And I know we have a number of dealers watching, and one of the things I've been on a group text of dealers struggling to get non-NFA firearms. So is there still availability for a new dealer who wasn't smart enough to place orders ahead of time?
So if somebody was interested in signing up as a new dealer, what's the options and lead times and such for them? What are the best ways for them to get product, in particular non-NFAs?
As a new dealer, there really is no shortcut. You don't have a lot of clout yet with us or within the company. So throwing more money at it or trying to pay an expediting fee is not really going to help. But if they are looking to set up a dealer account, you can start on our homepage, and under the DSI dropdown, it'll say "Become a Dealer." They can fill out that form, and it'll get emailed to myself, which I'll then follow up with them and get them their whole welcome package as far as how to set up as a dealer. But again, lead times are going to be the same, whether you're a customer and you're putting an order in for 1 gun, or you're a new dealer coming on, putting in an order for 50 guns. You're going to end up at the back of the line, and lead times could be up to a year.
Probably the only way that a new dealer could get firearms quicker would be, I guess, if they reach out to you for to set up as a dealer. You can provide them with information for some of the wholesale distributors that do carry our products, and they do have stuff on order. It's the possibility that, depending on your relationship with them, you might be able to get some of our firearms through the distributor quicker than if you ordered direct from us.
Okay. So it seems like if somebody just wants a Darkstorm firearm, they'll reach out to the dealer, and then if somebody wants to customize something, then their best bet would be to order directly on your website, or possibly go to a dealer, get the base firearm, and order accessories from you.
Yeah, in terms of custom firearms, there's kind of 2 options. One of which would be they could purchase a standard firearm from the dealer. They could purchase one with some of the upgrades through the dealer. If they're looking to do something full custom shop, they can either have their local dealer reach out to us directly, or they can reach out to us directly. And we do a decent amount of customized stuff, custom Cerakote finishes, custom engraving, variety of different configuration changes. We do offer some left-handed configurations, and some of that stuff you may find a little more challenging to order through the dealer versus ordering direct. But again, if you do have a dealer you work with, definitely go to them and have them reach out to us, and we'll see if we can put together whatever your dream gun is. Unfortunately, right now the lead time on it again is going to be pretty long.
So the other question, wow, 3 days. Yeah, we're right on SHOT Show schedule. So it's already starting to go. So the other question is, and you guys are a little bit different because you also have a store and a range on Long Island. So if anybody's within a couple hours drive and they want to test or shoot one of your guns, can they come to the store and have them available for rent?
Yeah, so we do have a number of different firearms for rent at in the range at our retail store. We do have a lot of people that will come drive in to be able to see things, to be able to put hands on things, to be able to test fire things before they purchase them. The one big caveat is New York State is very restrictive on what you are allowed to handle and fire. So if the item is not legal in New York, it doesn't matter if you are a resident of New Jersey or Connecticut, you can't handle it or fire it in New York. So that's the negative. So if you want to come and look at the non-NFAs, well, I don't think we have any non-NFAs up in the retail store because, again, they're not a big seller. They'd be law enforcement only here. And even if you're from out of state, you can't handle it or shoot it. But if you want to come in and shoot one of the fixed mags just to get a feel for what the gun's like, what it feels like, how it runs, you're absolutely are able to do that.
Awesome. And so there was one question, and let me bring it up. So do they offer a largemouth magwell lower?
Largemouth magwell lower. So all of our lowers have a flare built onto them. But if they're looking for a 3-gun competition, a really big flare, no, we do not at this point.
Very cool. And then also from Drew, so loading like that through the port would for sure change the 2- and 3-gun competition up a bit. I guess in those states when you can, I guess people are interested in the fixed mag options and just how quick it is with the thingy. how quick it is when you charge it up.
With reloading it. Yeah. So, some of the competitions around here, I guess first of all, probably all of the competitions around here pretty much are limiting to 10-round magazines regardless to, keep that playing field even. As new people come into it, you don't have the option to have a grandfathered firearm in there. Then you come into trying to do a 3-gun competition, and you're going to be doing it with a fixed magazine, and you do need to generally reload in those competitions. So therefore, you're going to be likely having to go with a ejection port loader. The other option would be a featureless, and I know there are some people running PCC with featureless rifles of ours around here, and they've done reasonably well with that. Again, it takes a little getting used to.
Very cool. All right, Derek, did you have questions? Or I guess for you guys, anything that we should look forward to from Darkstorm in 2021? Anything fun and exciting? Or what's your message for the gun community?
I guess looking forward to 2021. I mean, our big focus is going to be pushing into, maximizing production. And then obviously the DS25 is going to be a big hit this year, I think.
I'm looking forward to the DS25 and seeing what that looks like.
Yes, and I see that you have this placeholder on the website for the DS25, but I don't see pictures. So I'm sure there will be probably some, and if you guys want to make any public, I'll post them as a comment and get people excited about that. I am excited about that because, and actually, if you have a couple of minutes, if you can... when you mentioned AR-10, the design being clunky, I immediately saw also in Derek nod in agreement. So the AR-15 is a great platform, nice compact, great ergonomics. I have shot some AR-10s, but not enough to know what I hate about them, besides, I guess, the weight. But what do you think from the engineering perspective can be improved the most that the DS-25 is fixing?
So I mean, it's a number of things. Fundamentally, reducing the size, reducing the weight of the action. Are major upgrades. You got to remember the AR-10 was the original, and the 15 came later on. Lessons learned. So we're trying to take that and revisit that back and say take all the lessons learned now over the last 50 years of the AR-15 and incorporate that into a 308 platform. So I think the lighter weight, the smaller package, the reduced recoil, will be the big game changers on that platform from a usability standpoint. And then I think the other big thing is there's a lot of proprietary different patterns, different problems with fitments on the AR-10s and the DPMS patterns, whatever you want to call them. And moving to this where more and more of the parts will be standardized, I think will be a huge step forward to people that want to build their own gun. There are a couple pieces that are going to be proprietary, but the expectation is that you can buy that builder set and then put all your other parts and pieces on it. And because again we are following a lot of the standard AR-15 and using standard AR-15 parts, you'll see a much greater variety of accessories and things available.
Awesome. So you've answered a lot of questions that people have about the non-NFA firearms, particularly for New York. So thank you for addressing those questions over and over. And you've definitely got a lot of people excited about the DS-25. So how would somebody keep up with your latest news, anything and what you release out there? I guess, how does somebody find Darkstorm?
So our website's www.dark-storm.com. Obviously, we update all the information on there. We have all of our products on there as they're released and available. The DS-25s will be up there. There'll likely be a big banner for that as we start getting to the point where we're going to start taking orders. You can follow us on a variety of social media platforms, Instagram, Facebook, all the links of which are on our homepage. We're also on Parler, which is not working at the moment, but we hope to see that back up soon. And we're going to continue to expand onto new social media platforms as they become available. And the other thing, I guess this is kind of our christening for our new video studio, which we've built here. And we're going to be, hopefully over the next year or so, filming a lot of videos, both detailed explanations, introductions of products, maintenance videos, all kinds of things that will be up on our YouTube channel and whatever other video social media platforms emerge.
Awesome. Well, thank you very much. You guys have addressed a lot of questions, provided a lot of awesome information, and definitely looking forward to seeing more of what comes out of Dark Storm.
Yes.
Sounds good. Thank you very much for hosting us here.
Thank you.
And so if anybody else has questions that were not answered, just make sure you leave them in the comments, and we will be making sure to address those as well. And I think we should be joined by a colleague of ours, Joe, Shooting Gallery North New England. If he's going to come on, he's been on and off, on and off. So if he's going to pop on, come on that. And before that, I will just make the announcement right now. So originally, back on Friday, when I thought about the idea of hosting a virtual SHOT Show, I was like, all right, we're going to do it during SHOT Show week. We'll do it for a couple of days. We'll see what the interest is. And at most, kind of like while we were at SHOT Show, I usually schedule about 20 minutes. I figure 20 minutes plus 10 minutes of questions, half hour per company. As we quickly found out that 30 minutes is generally not enough to answer all of the questions and the conversations. And I figured, why not have people for a long period of time? We ended up having people here for an hour slot. And after that first day, so usually the videos do really well anyway, but our live stream, we had over 500 people join the live stream that we did day one. We tracked Optics and Bergara. And based on that, then we had a couple another 1,000 plus watch the replay. Just blown away by that. And apparently so are a lot of the other companies. So my schedule and emails have been blowing up with people who want to come on. So instead of forcing more things into Friday, what I think we'll do, and if Derek wants to come on as well, we will continue this into next week and possibly the week after. And let me know if you guys are interested in this, guys and gals, of having companies come on for about an hour, or maybe like, let's say have 2 companies come on to discuss their products, take your questions, and continue, I guess, virtual SHOT Show week into virtual SHOT Show season, where we have new products. Because I know for a fact we also have a Rock Island Armory that wants to come on to discuss for new products. We have Savage that wants to come on and discuss for new products. And Derek has a couple of companies that they wanted to come on and share their new stuff with you guys as well. So if you want to see more of that, type yes in the comments, and we'll start scheduling those out. But Friday is usually one of the slower days, and plus that's usually ski season. I'm going skiing on Fridays, so screw you guys. I'm going skiing.
And I need a day. And I need a day where I can get some sleep.
There we go. Because Derek does work 2 jobs, and he does gun stuff as well. And well, we do need to make sure that he has enough time to make some of his videos as well.
So this has been a lot more successful than I expected it to be. I'm very grateful and humble that it has become as successful. I've really enjoyed everybody that's come on, enjoyed all the comments, all the interaction we've had with viewers and guests. So this has been really well done.
Yeah.
For 4 days put together.
Well, no, it's been 3 so far.
No, I'm talking about the 4 days prior we did doing the first day.
Oh, yes. Absolutely.
Getting everything ready to go.
Yes. And like I mean, it literally just came out from the idea. It was like, well, if you weren't here for day 1 and day 2, so we have a private Discord group for gun creators. And most of us were planning on going to SHOT Show, and we had everything booked. And then the announcement came that there was not going to be a SHOT Show. So a couple of people backed out, but Derek and I were like, no, we're going anyway. We don't care if there's not going to be a SHOT Show. We're going to get together. There's a lot of companies in the Nevada, Arizona, Utah area that we wanted to go visit, and we're going to collaborate with some other content creators that were in the Utah area, where we're going to go shoot long range pew pew. And then as the election started dragging on and we were supposed to be there during inauguration week, there's just a lot of ifs. And then actually, as it turned out, one of those people ended up having the Wu flu or being exposed to the Wu flu. So it just basically, we're rescheduling that. So we'll do that a little bit later. But like I said, Friday night, I was supposed to fly out on Saturday. Friday night, it hit me. I'm like, I want to be in Vegas. And you know what? Let's actually do something. And more importantly, not just companies that were planning on attending SHOT Show, but companies that were not going to exhibit at SHOT Show. So who did we have yesterday? My brain's already like going. Yesterday we had Deflector Break and Anarchy Outdoors. And both of those are awesome companies that do attend, but they weren't generally going to have their own booth. But I wanted to bring them on so we can talk about it. Their products, because they make some awesome products.
Yes, I'm a big fan of Anarchy Outdoors products since I got my hands on some. And I think they're going to turn the market on Savage, for more people to look at their stuff like they did with Ruger.
Okay, so let's talk about some of the new pew pew. So, well, here, let's sum up. What did you love about Taurus? What did you like? What did you not like? Same thing for Darkstorm. What are you excited about?
For Taurus, I think them releasing that little Heritage is going to just be a fun little gun just to go out and just shoot just for fun. The TX22 competition, I'm actually kind of excited to see how that's going to be. That's going to be a market for them where Ruger has been sitting for years on. You got the Mark IV competition pistols.
Oh, yeah,
you got the Brownings. So they're getting into an area where it's going to be new for them. So I'm excited to see how that's going to work out.
So this is actually an interesting part of me. Like you said, TX22 competition, which was the Ruger, and I didn't even consider it because I've always looked at this TX22 as a different type of rimfire gun compared to, let's say, for example, the M&P 922. Well, they call it the M&P 22, my mistake, M&P 22, or like the Walther P22, where it's a real type gun as opposed to, like the Ruger Mark IV, the Victory, the Smith & Wesson 41, the Browning Buckmark. I've always considered those to be kind of like rimfire type guns, like the Space Blaster looking guns. And those would be awesome for 22 shooting. However, the TX22, I've looked at it more as a trainer gun for a full-size polymer pistol.
I can see that. I think the TX22 competition fits more in with the Mark IV line, with from the perspective of the way it was designed, and I can see the traditional TX22 being into the trainer area. I mean, it could go either way, honestly. It really could.
Yeah, and I think at the price point, so I mean, I know when those guns are going to be out with, say, 480 MSRP, they're going to be going for 450 to 500 easily, simply because there's a lack of guns. But I think once things settle down, if you can get it for around $400, I think it's going to be a good value, because when you're thinking about it, even if you get a regular TX22, so let's say that's $350, by the time you mill the slide, if you want it for an optic, you add a competition type barrel. And then even that point, when you're milling the slide, it's still only going to be good for one type of optic. What I'm really excited about is the fact that they made it so that it includes the base plates, and it's just two plates that are going to cover the major footprints that you have.
Yeah. I can see that. And you'd
So I'm
be up
def-
well over $600 if you did all that custom work done to it.
And then, like I said, so someone brought up the Glock 44, which is a really cool gun. But once again, the biggest issue with those Glock 44s is some of those slides cracking. And because the slide, it's a very thin aluminum with mostly polymer. And then, of course, it's going to be the magazine capacity that's still only 10 rounds on the Glock 44.
I wasn't a fan of the Glock 44, and I love Glocks. It's one of my favorite carry pistols, but I was not a fan of the Glock 44.
Like I said, I haven't shot it, so
I've actually seen one. I've held it. It's nice. It feels just like a Gen 519, but to me, it's junk. It's just not. I think it's quality that Glock just didn't put any real sense into personally.
yeah. Plus the out of battery detonation issues.
That's it.
It'll do that. It'll blow up on you. Well, hopefully they fix those soon, but that's why I think the TX22 is really, really good gun. And like I said, then the main issue with Taurus though is because there's so many brand new people buying them. They're also sometimes swamped with issues that aren't necessarily issues. And as a result of it, the weight on the warranty work is fairly backlogged. Now, I do know, so they have the new CEO, and since they moved to Bainbridge, Georgia, bigger facility, I know they're working hard on getting that under control. So, but no, that's going to be good. And now he didn't want to talk about this, but so officially, those are the only two guns that are out. There was an image that was going around of a cover of a magazine for next month. It was Guns and Ammo February issue. And they had on the cover the TX22 competition and the G3 optics ready pistol. So it's the full-sized pistol optics ready. So that should be next month's release. So looking forward to that as well. And the G3 is a really good pistol. It's a solid pistol.
Looked at one, but nothing I desire to own.
Cool. All right. So now we started talking about, you looked more into the, so go ahead, this Savage. I'm going to pull it up. Talk more about the Savage competition.
Okay, I was doing a little more research last night on the new Savage Renegade competition, 12-gauge shotgun. And Savage released a couple small videos out on YouTube. And from what I'm seeing is this is actually Savage's stock. They're not using a third-party stock or anything like that. They are actually designed an AccuFit stock for it. And everything looks proprietary Savage. With the option of using Brunelli or Beretta chokes, which is actually kind of smart because those are the two top companies out in the market for shotguns, especially in the competition world. I don't know much about Mossberg, about the 940M or the 930M. Never really got my hands on one.
JM.
Oh, JM, sorry.
Jerry Mickle.
But honestly, I think they have a solid shotgun here. Unfortunately, yes, the price is going to be kind of the deciding factor. MSRP at $1,950. Honestly, I could see street price is going to be around $1,600, which is what, about $500 more than the 940 JM?
Yeah.
Okay, so I don't know. I'm really hoping this is a winner.
Like I said, I haven't shot the Renegade, and here's the thing, though. So the bum part about missing SHOT Show is that this gun would be at the SHOT Show Media Day, so on Monday before. So the SHOT Show runs Tuesday through Friday. On Monday, we have Media Day, where you go out to the range and you get to shoot a lot of this new stuff. And we would be able to shoot it and see how it is. Now, Karchark, you're in there. Did you shoot the Renegade regular one last year when they came out with it, or no? Yes, we have the field. I mean, they do look cool.
They do. And if I was doing 3-gun, I would so jump on one. I mean, I just want to jump on one just because it's going to match my 6GT I'm building, but just because it's black and red. But I don't know. I'm hoping it's going to be a seller. I might get one in for review.
You should. Well, what do you have coming up right now? You have the Savage
110 Precision. I was going to send in my request for the 110 Tactical and the 6mm Arc. And then one of Savage's hunting 110 series I was looking at.
Okay. So for those
but that's more summertime.
For those not familiar, talk about the 110 Precision and I guess the Elite Precision.
Okay. The 110 Precision is one of 3 precision rifles that Savage came out with. They were announced at SHOT Show last year. They didn't really get hitting the shelves until, I don't know, June or July. The 110 Precision is in the middle of the line. It is on the MDT LSS XL chassis with a solid stock on it instead of the AR-15 buffer tube style. What I really like about this rifle is the solid stock offering and not the AR-15 buffer tube system. I was not a fan of the 110 Stealth that had the LSS chassis because for me it was just too short of a forend. This one, they really designed the chassis system to make it, I think they extended it about 4 or 5 inches. And you can get a lot of accessories for it. You can get an Arca Swiss rail. You can get an adjustable bag rider system. It takes AR-15 style grips, which is really nice. So you can do a lot with it. I actually am working on a video where we have it all decked out. Comes with a 20 MOA EGW rail, which is one of my favorite companies to work with when it comes to the rails. It is a Trude bolt and bolt face. Sorry, bolt face, bolt, and action. So it's all true from the factory. I'm not a big fan of the barrel contour that they used. It's a little thinner in diameter than what I like personally on the 110 Precision. But when you look at it this way, you're getting a lot of rifle for the $1,500 MSRP. Street price, I've seen them for about $12, and you are getting a lot of offering, and it has the Accu trigger.
Mm-hmm.
And so the one thing I absolutely do not like, and I probably will say something to Savage when they do come on, is I do not like the BA muzzle brake on there. That muzzle brake is just pointless for that rifle unless you're really shooting the 300 Win or the 300 PRC.
But the large magnums actually don't come with a muzzle brake.
They do on this one.
Okay.
They do on this one. The Elite Precision. Now let me get into the Elite Precision.
Okay.
The Elite Precision,
so
when you
do
get
that, I'm going to be right back. But let me pull up the Elite Precision so I'm actually waiting for a 110 Elite Precision in 300 PRC. Okay. Originally, it was supposed to be 338 Lapua, but decided to go with 300 PRC.
See, I'm going to get the 338 Lapua and redo that into a 37XC. Okay, so the 110 Elite Precision is the highest offering of the 3 that Savage came out with. And this one has a lot more offering for caliper-wise, from anything from 223 all the way up to 338 Lapua Magnum. This one, once again, is blueprinted action. The bolt is actually titanium nitrated instead of just nitrated. And this one has a built-in Arca Swiss rail. This one comes on the ACC chassis system with the MDT vertical grip. Now, the 6mm, the 6.5, and the 223 rem are the only ones that come with a muzzle brake. The 300 Win, the 300 PRC, and the 338 Lapua Magnum do not. Now, if I had the way to show you guys, on the stock, the adjusters are actually little knobs, where on the 110 Precision, it's a little Allen head screw. So you get a little more of an upgrade. On these, you're getting a 30-inch barrel instead of a 24 or a 26. You're getting stainless, and most of these are a 5R rifled barrel. So I'm looking forward to getting one in my hands, to seeing it and trying it out. I am a big Lapua Magnum shooter. I have the Savage 112 right now, and I also have the custom built one that we're doing also. Now, Savage also had a third rifle that Alex from Affordable Rifles and Optics had, which was the Savage Access Precision Rifle, and he had that in a 6.5 Creedmoor, I believe. The same caliber I have my 110 in. So far, I've had really great luck with the 110 Precision. It's fed everything I've put through it. Had no magazine issues. Haven't had no issues with the action or anything like that. Like I said, we are doing a video of the rifle, and then like all the upgrades you can do to it, including some parts from Anarchy Outdoors, MDT mount systems from Warren, and I'm going to be getting a hold of Deflector Brake for their new Jawbreaker cheek pad to put on that. Now, both Slav and I are big rifle fans. Now, he's more of a fan of Ruger. I'm more of a fan of Savage. Could you bring up the Savage Access Precision?
The Access Precision, okay. That's the 110. So, Access series?
Yep.
Access.
That's the one in like the Oryx style chassis.
Interesting.
Okay, the Access 2 Precision. This is the one that Alex had. He had that in the 6.5 Creedmoor, and he did a few videos with it. MSRP is $979. I think street price I've seen these is right around $850.
Is that an Oryx chassis?
It's an Oryx. I believe it is.
Oh no, it's part. It looks like half Oryx. So like from here back, it looks like the Oryx.
And I think the front part of it was redesigned by MDT.
Well, Oryx is MDT.
Well, yeah, but I think
you
know that's something we'd have to ask Alex if it was marked Oryx, if it was marked MDT. That would be a good question for him.
Exclusive MDT chassis designed for Savage Access 2.
Okay.
But that's so it looks like a lot. It looks like Oryx from here back. It just here it looks a little bit different. The front handguard looks exactly the same.
Yeah, because don't you have an Oryx chassis? But
yeah, I do. In the Howa.
Okay. Yeah, this is from what I've seen from Alex's videos, this looks like a really solid rifle for somebody who just wants to get into precision shooting. I mean, it fits right in the diameter for production class too. Both this and the 110 Precision.
979, which is not bad. 979 MSRP, so hopefully around 700 or less. But then you really kind of have the question of, hey, you can get a Ruger American you can get a Ruger American, let's say 350, and then spend 450 to 500 on your choice of triggers, chassis as well.
Well, I mean,
unless you're a Savage fan, but yeah.
I mean, it's a good offering for somebody who wants to get into production class.
Okay.
Because if you get the Ruger American and you start changing out the trigger and changing out the stock, then you're taking yourself into open class.
Yes, that's a good point.
So this, like I said, there's a lot of great things that Savage has done in the last year with this. And
one of the things that I'm impressed with Savage is, I mean, like they will chamber guns in pretty much any caliber.
Yeah. And my plan was to get one of the 110 Elite Precisions, put all the weight system up on the front, take the 338 Lapua Magnum barrel off, have it run the reamer through it to make that a 33XC, then have another barrel made and to a 37XC, so I can have the best of both worlds because it takes the same headspace gauges and it wouldn't take that long to change out the barrels.
And I am done. I did my job. You just pronounced it 338 Lapua. Yes. You did not call it 338 Lapua. And for those that are watching, yes, the correct pronunciation is Lapua, not Lapua.
The other one I want to get in from Savage is the B Series Precision 22. Alex also did a review on that one too.
Yeah, and I have the 110 Tactic. Ooh, this is kind of cool. B-17 Overwatch.
Huh, I haven't seen that one yet.
That is pretty cool. In 17 HMR, okay. Interesting. Well, all the B-17s are 17 HMR. Yeah, they have it in 22. MSRP of just $369.
That's not bad at all.
Very cool. Okay, so basically the new gun that came out, let me close this tab. Yeah, somebody made a comment, man, look at all those tabs open. This is not even that bad. This is just one monitor. I have my main monitor and a lot more tabs. All right, so Browning and Winchester, we have the new rifles. So we've talked about 6.8 Western in depth, and there are a number of companies that are coming out and they're going to do 6.8 Western barrels. Now, 280 Ackley improved. You've talked about it in the past.
Yes.
But what is 280 AI? Because it's not something that's generally popular on the East Coast. But
okay, Ackley improved. The only cartridge that ever got Sammy spec'd was the 280 Ackley improved. The Parker Ackley took his big cartridge, big fan. He was a big fan of the 30-06, and he took it, revamped the shoulder to a 40-degree shoulder, and put it and seated it with a 7mm head, which hence the Ackley improved version of it, and why it's a 280.
Okay.
It is
and there's a picture of it. That's a big cartridge.
It's not much bigger than what your 7mm or your 30-06.
Okay.
Believe it or not. Actually, the next one down from where you clicked on is a better picture.
This?
Yes.
All right. So this one actually looks like the shoulder here.
Yes, the shoulder's pushed forward 40 degrees.
Okay. Actually, so here's a picture of these two.
Yes.
I guess there's one 280 Ackley and one 280 Ackley improved.
From the looks of it, yes.
Okay.
So what a lot of people don't understand is to get the real benefactor of an Ackley cartridge is it's hard to do true load, like your regular standard load development with it, because with the way an Ackley cartridge is, you're supposed to be getting another 100 to anywhere between 100 and 200 feet per second out of the cartridge. And the nice thing about it is if you're a reloader, is it's actually less stretch on the brass, believe it or not. So you can actually get more firings out of it. Hence the reason why I'm doing a 338 Lapua Magnum Ackley improved. Because of something I've been wanting to try. Now, the 280 became, I think, Sammy spec'd back in, it was in the mid-80s. But Nozzler's been making brass for it for a while.
They make ammo for it as well.
And they make ammo for it. Hornady makes brass for it. I think they started making brass just a couple of years ago. And a lot of people are actually starting to see why the advantage of having that cartridge is because you don't have to have it's not a Magnum bolt face. So you're using a standard 308 style bolt face in a long action. So if you're running like a Savage 30-06 and you're like, well, I really want to rebarrel this and do a 280 Ackley, you can. You don't have to change out the bolt face or anything like that. There's a lot of advantages of it. A lot of people call it the what do you call it? a little brother version to the 7mm because it's not a I can't remember the terms of the cartridge now. Help me out here.
Which one? I'm sorry.
The 7mm. It's the same as the 300. On the bottom.
7mm rem mag? No.
No, the same as like
Oh,
when
7.6.
I can't actually remember the actual terms of of what the 300 Win Mag cartridge is. A belted cartridge. So the plus side with going with the 280 Ackley, it's not a belted cartridge.
Oh, like a 300 Win Mag is belted.
Yes. So in a 7mm is belted. A lot of people like that don't want a belted cartridge because you can't get that many reloads out of it.
Yeah, and here's basically an image of 270 versus 280 versus 280 Ackley improved with, you can see the belted cartridge here.
Yeah, exactly. And I don't know. I mean, I'm a big 7mm fan. I really want a 280 Ackley. Savage brought out the Ackley last year in the Access. Not the best platform in the world, I would think, for that cartridge because of this. I'm not a big fan of the ergonomics of the stock.
So, and it looks like, so 280 Ackley improved is the same size as 270. So that should be the same size as the new 6.8 Western and 6.5 PRC. Overall length,
yes.
Okay, and in which case, which is actually really interesting, so Browning and Winchester, on one hand, they launched for brand new 6.8 Western caliber, but at the same time, they're hedging their bets, and Browning was one of the first ones, besides Ruger, to start chambering guns in 6.5 PRC, and now they're doing 280 AI rifles, plus they just announced the 6.5 PRC ammo as well, so it'll be interesting. I mean, it's a lot of choices, but it's a little bit interesting to see that 280 AI is gaining in popularity just now.
It is. It's been more popular out here in the Northwest and like your bigger hunting states than it has on the East Coast. Honestly, I wouldn't mind getting a hold of one of, where is it up on my screen? They just launched this one. They were talking about it. Is the X-Bolt Flat Dark Earth Long Range.
Okay.
In a 280 Ackley. I'd actually use this as a hunting rifle, to be honest, hunting or just target shooting for the fun of it. And they're going to be launching this one in 6.5 Creed, 6.5 PRC, 6.8 Western, 280 Ackley, 300 Win, and 300 PRC.
Okay.
So, and the MSRP is $11.99 to $12.39. So it's actually fairly reasonable in price for what you're getting.
All right, so I'm kind of going through and seeing what else is on the newer side. So it looks like most of the big announcements have been covered. This is actually one of them. So Kalashnikov USA, they started shipping these again.
Okay.
Have you heard of the Comrade? So we were talking about other firearms. Here is a non-NFA shotgun. There's a better picture of it. So short barrel, pistol grip stock. I'm sorry, pistol brace, and a vertical foregrip. And so these were actually really popular in Jersey and Connecticut, where you cannot otherwise have a semi-auto shotgun with a detachable magazine, and this was legal. I've shot this. Oh my God, the recoil on this is a little nutty.
I want one.
It is cool. It is
just because of that cool factor, and I used to work on a lot of 12 gauge AK style shotguns.
Ooh, interesting. You learn something new about Derek every day. Okay, so I think that's basically, I'm going through my emails of the new announcements, and that's what I had for today.
What is the MSRP on that?
So these are right around, I believe, like 13. God. 12.50.
Oh, so hard to justify that.
Well, especially versus the Russian Vepr 12s and the Saiga. Well, if you can find a Saiga 12 still, but the Vepr 12s.
Yeah.
And well, the one you have a lot of AR style shotguns that, like from the Turkish companies.
Yeah. Honestly, I'd rather have one of these.
It is cool. But I'll probably just register it and replace the pistol brace with a stock, and that would make it better. But then you'd have to register this as a short barrel shotgun.
True.
So it'd be a tax stamp. But it's cool. It definitely looks great.
It does. I would have to admit I'd want one. I mean, that just looks like a fun toy.
Yeah, so 12. It'd be interesting. So going back, what else we've learned since then? We know, so Savage has announced a bunch of new calibers, new firearms. Taurus is going to have, I believe on one of the conference calls, they said that they're going to have a new model every month. So I'm assuming in February, we're going to have the G3 optics ready that they're going to announce. And then they'll have guns going forward. And Savage has the 6 arc chamberings, plus they have the straight pull.
Yep, the impulse.
Mossberg is going to have some 6 arc guns, but later this year. And they just had the over-unders.
Has Mossberg announced anything yet?
Mossberg, yes. Well, we talked about it. Remember the Mossberg Silver
right.
Reserve and the...
Oh, that's right. Okay. That's right. We talked about that on day one. Okay.
Yeah, this is a dry run for you for actual SHOT Show. Yeah, so shotguns, break action.
I do got to get a hold of Mossberg. I got to send out the thing to them. So
there you go. Pretty looking guns. Like I said, it's going to be a good price, solid price.
I could see Car Shark doing a review on those.
Well, he already asked for one.
I bet he did.
Speaking of shotguns, so he did actually. So last year he shot the Renegade when they just came out with the regular Renegade. I prefer the 940 JM over it by far. It would be hard to say regarding the competition versus, though, as the Renegade was the regular one.
Okay.
Now, what specifically? So I wasn't there for the Renegade. What specifically about it? I think you said still the recoil was a little bit harsh, if I recall correctly. But the 940 JM is so soft shooting. It is such a nice gun. The only thing, so I do have one for review. We've shot it a couple of times already. The only thing on it is just the finish on it. On some of the parts wears a little bit quicker, but otherwise, shooting wise, it's amazing. And yes, Mr. Shotgun wants the Mossberg Gold Reserve.
I wonder if Mossberg is going to release a pistol this year. They have the last 2 years.
So that's actually a really good question, because they had on the pistols, they had the M1C, which is the subcompact.
Mm-hmm.
Then they have the M2C, which they released last year, which is the compact. So I guess we're assuming for the same for the full size. So I shot both. They're decent guns. I think it's a little bit of a crowded space. The unique feature on these is higher capacity. And as you can see here, that the firing pin is removable as part of standard cleaning. So it was a little bit quicker. You just press in the button and it slides off and you can remove the firing pin. That's the attractive feature on it.
I've actually held the M1C. I actually liked it. Price points weren't too bad for on the market at the time. So
No, I mean they are.
would I take it over a Springfield Hellcat? That's hard to say.
There was a new Springfield Hellcat something. I don't know much about it.
Yeah, they actually released one with the Crimson Trace optic.
Yes, okay, that's what it was.
Yep, I already got to play with that one.
So Mossberg 940 JM was softer shooting and cycled faster. The Renegade was more of a general purpose gun. It wasn't that fast shooting. It didn't seem well suited for competition. That's the original Renegade. But once again, though, we don't know what they did with the Renegade competition.
Bergara announced a new rifle last night.
Bergara thing. They were supposed to announce it this morning.
Yeah.
And I made that snide remark when he posted it.
Yeah, I know. Actually, I just all I need is a Bergara barreled action and the magazine and bottom metal, so I can do it with a project.
What's the new gun?
I don't know. They didn't.
Well, they're supposed to do the.
I think it's. I want to say it's a 22.
What's it take to make a 1,000-yard shot? Pretty much any modern rifle will do it.
True. I've done it with 2 Bergaras.
Okay, press releases, I'm assuming. Oh, come on. They haven't updated the press releases in over a year?
Wow, that's sad.
Okay, now I don't feel bad that my...
I mean, I like the 22 trainer. I think it's a cool rifle. I haven't actually gotten shot one, but I've got some experience just holding it, taking one apart, and stuff like that.
So like I said, they posted on it. Is it on Facebook?
It was on Facebook.
Let me take a look. So I'm gonna take a look at. I'm not gonna pull up my Facebook on here, but they have nothing on their website. I know they said that they're gonna do a release today, but I did not see anything.
I'm gonna check Instagram.
And if anybody knows, all right, here's like, I don't know, there's like on their page came up okay, here we go. Bergara micro rimfire. This is not how you do media, people.
Yes, it is up on Instagram. It looks like it's another 22, but it is their own proprietary magazine system.
As opposed to using the MDT 22 mags?
Honestly, the magazines look almost like a design from the CZ 457s.
Wouldn't shock me.
No, and it's not, and it's
okay, here we go. I can pull up the right. Bergara BMR. Yes, that's the Bergara micro rimfire. Things just got micro. Oh, come on. All right, so let's look at this. It's a smaller magazine.
Yeah, instead of using the 700 footprint, which I mean, it almost looks like a CZ 457 magazine.
Like CZ 457 or a Ruger American Rimfire or a Savage.
No, American Ruger Rimfire uses a 1022.
Yes.
That's not a 1022.
I know it's not a change, but I mean the size, action size.
Gotcha. Okay.
All right, let's see. There we go. .30 MOA rail. So, Remington style trigger with their own magazines.
I just think Bergara just kicked himself in the ass on this.
Why?
Because they had a great thing going with doing the Remington 700 style system, magazine, ACIC magazine system, because you could take that system out and put it in any 700 style stock.
Okay.
This is going to be a proprietary stock system and a proprietary bottom metal and everything. So I think they just went backwards.
Well, they built it for themselves. So the 659 for a carbon fiber barreled one.
Okay. Well, I mean, price wise, maybe okay.
Yeah.
Maybe they're trying to do something on the market. So because the trainers are expensive, those are between $800 and $900, and then I think the carbon fiber barrels were about $1,150, $12.
Okay.
So I mean, I can understand where they're coming from. Let me resent my last hit. Maybe they're not moving backwards.
Actually, here we go. Let me find out while you do that. Let me find out if Aaron wants to join us.
Yeah, because Aaron, I was going to talk to him about seeing if he could get me one of the Bergara trainer actions. Because I have my Macmillan in stock. I just need an action. And I wanted to do it off the 700 style because I run 700 style actions for my PRS rifle. Here, let me let the dog out.
This will be interesting. Okay, so I sent him a message. Hopefully he can come on. But so Aaron from Anarchy Outdoors. He's the 22 person.
I mean, I could see this being popular in the NRL 22 and stuff like that for an entry-level rifle. I think it's a great idea. I guess it's one of those things that's like, I hope Bergara makes enough magazines to sell off to the side with it also.
And I mean, if you're already going this route, and if you're going to go to a proprietary magazine, then I would say, why not go to a Ruger? Well, the Christensen also uses the Ruger 1022 magazine, right?
Yes. The Christensen bolt action does, but that's way out of that price point. I remember, I think
somebody coming up with one that was,
because the last Christensen that we had on the shelf where I work,
$795. So it's $100 more for this than the other carbon fiber.
Mm-hmm. Oh, okay. So that's because I think the one we had was about 900 that we sold. So
yeah, so the Ranger 22 is interesting. And then, but it all goes back to the craze that there is in 22 and long range 22. But I mean, so even from my perspective is you hit the magazine issue right on the head because it's a proprietary magazine.
That's why I went with the Ruger RPR rimfires, because it takes the 1022 magazines. I can use the 15 round magazine over having the little 10 rounders. And then what I really liked about the 22 trainer that Bergara had is it used a 700 style bottom metal footprint.
Okay.
And Ray over at X-Spring hit the same point with Voodoo on a couple of his live streams. Was the reason why he liked that one so much is because it had the 700 footprint, and you can take it and take it out of the stock, put it into a chassis system if you want, and set up that thing so it matches almost exactly to your full-size PRS rifle.
So what you're saying is it's a money grab.
Probably, yeah.
And there's nothing wrong with that. But no, I mean, I mean, on one hand, they are saving money, but I don't think you need to spend that much more in order to get this.
I mean, the smart thing I see is they put a 30 MOA rail on it. They pretty much got a rifle all set up with that new Bergara set up for NRL 22, 10 round magazine. You're good to go there. Carbon fiber barrel if you're into carbon fiber. Honestly, I'd probably go with the steel because just for the weight factor. I mean, the stock isn't as adjustable as the HMR stock, but if you are trying to get into it and you want to be under, I don't know, say $1,500, you've got a great rifle right there to start with. Plus, it's got the 700 trigger in it. I mean, once again, 700 trigger, a good 700 trigger is about $200. That rifle is $565, and then a good optic. You can get really good optics for about $600-700 now, and you can be right in there on the production class or open class or wherever you want to shoot.
Yeah. It's interesting. I mean, I don't know how I feel about yet another magazine. That's the whole point. I don't know. Because I said, if you are going to upgrade it, and like I said, it doesn't have the adjustable stock.
And I can't believe I'm going to say...
Here's what you can do. Here's what you can do. Get a CZ and get a Boyd's at one stock. Done.
Or you get yourself a CZ and get yourself an MDT chassis or a MPA chassis if you run chassis on your regular PRS rifle.
Yeah.
Honestly, now after seeing this, and I don't know if I'd want this over the B-22 that Savage has. Because for the same price point, yes, you have to have a proprietary magazine, okay? But you're getting an MDT chassis, MDT stock for the same price.
Yeah. And that was the B14, right?
The B14 trainer is the other 22.
Yeah, B14 carbon is this guy. Okay. Yep, B14 trainer.
Yeah, and those I think are going, $12.45. So it's half the price.
Yes, but
you're getting a lot more different options and a lot more feel.
Different stock.
And if you go with this, and if you go with the steel barrel, I think it's like $950.
Yep.
Because I actually found a tighter twist barrel I'm going to put on the RPR rimfire to try it out.
$11.50. So street price of about 900 versus street price of
1,000.
Yeah, that's yeah.
So I'm thinking street price. If Bergara is putting up MSRP at $565, I think street price is going to be about $450.
Not at first. I think people are going to be crazy about it because it's Bergara, and it's going to get close to that if you can find it in stock.
True.
It's very interesting. Or, I mean, I would love to see the comparison of this versus the rifles, rimfire, Ruger American Long Range Target. This guy.
See, that's one I want.
$599.
Yeah.
And it is 22-inch barrel, so it's even longer. Street price. Well, it's here.
I haven't even seen one in person, and they've been out for a year.
There's no zip codes available. They're not here. But I think street price is going to be probably in the 4s if you can find it. When they are, but you should be able to.
And that has a lot more features to it than the new Bergara does. If I remember right, that has the M-Lock rail system integrated underneath
M-Lock on the bottom. So this is almost the same type of stock as they have on the Hawkeye long-range targets. It's a laminate wood stock that's finished with this epoxy finish. You have an upright grip. You have the cheek riser. 8 pounds, so it's a little bit more. It uses the 10-round magazines. You can also use the BX-25 or the 15s.
Yeah.
And
I just don't know what MOA rail it has.
So this is actually the thing. So, I mean, here it's pictured with a rail.
Yeah.
But Okay, sights no, scope base installed. Factory one scope piece rail. Let me actually see, because I did have a video.
I want to say it's probably a 20 or a 30 because they did a 30 MOA rail on the RPR rimfire. So
So far, we've looked at the Ruger custom shop offerings, but with Ruger, there's always more. Now, a couple of weeks ago, when prepping for SHOT Show,
Flying Rich is on. Welcome, sir.
I was hoping to see more guns in 6.5 PRC. So I started looking with this, one of my favorite rifles, the Ruger Hawkeye long range target. And I don't know, is this 6.5 PRC or 308? Whatever it is. There's a bunch of calibers, and you did add a couple of calibers to that line as well. And then you have that without the magazine, but there's always more with Ruger. But I saw this gun, and I was like, wait, you have another new Hawkeye long-range target, until I realized it's not a Hawkeye long-range target.
But I'm glad you picked this one out, because of all the stuff we've launched, it's probably my favorite.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
So this is a Ruger American rimfire. Okay. Now we have a precision version of the Ruger American rimfire, and it's got this skeletonized polymer stock, shoots like a house of fire. But I really prefer the looks of this, just like I prefer the looks of that Hawkeye long-range target over the precision. And
that's because you're a traditionalist.
I am, and they both functionally do the same thing. They ergonomically conform to you. You shoot them, they send bullets a long ways away, and you can target them, make you happy. But this one's in 22 long rifle. Right? It's a really cool looking stock. We got a canted rail. It's a heavy barrel. It's threaded. So you put standard ammo in this, and you're shooting for what, 6 cents a round, and you can shoot all day long, easy money. But you've got all this highly good ergonomics. You can raise and lower the comb, move the comb in and out.
And that comb looks familiar. I think I saw it in a couple of the guns.
Yeah, so that's from the RPR, and we're glad.
I will say this: Ruger American rimfire and the RPR precision rimfire do not take the same scope bases.
Okay, yeah.
Because I have one of each, and I tried taking the base off the RPR, put it on the American, does not fit.
Mm-hmm.
So
I'm saying, look, does he mention the base? It does a really good job. I mean, you can raise it to whatever distance you want.
And just like some of the other Hawkeyes, with this system, we have 3 half-inch spacers, so you can adjust the length of the bolt. So it's a
can't do that in the Bergara.
So the Ruger part. And comes with the 10-round magazine, but you can also put a 15 or a 25 if you wish.
Yeah, so that's a standard 1022 magazine, isn't it?
Yes, it is. Okay. So
that comes out easy, doesn't it?
I like 22s a lot, and I like the styling of this. This is actually a laminate wood stock that's painted. It's not composite, so we make it on our own shop.
So who's the target buyer for this gun?
It's anyone who wants to have fun, but I would invite anyone who thinks they want to get into the long-range game. You do it in 22. You can
I know what gun is going on my Ruger request list.
Learn the
Me too.
accurately well on easy cost ammo. You don't have to be burning up 6.5 PRC to learn. You probably learn on this.
Just think, I need an Arca Swiss rail scope.
Thought about it that way, but you're right. I mean, so this can be a LCP 222 version of that, which would be like a 380.
And the other thing that happened is that you start playing around with these in the wind, you will learn wind call. It will humble you. It certainly humbles me trying to understand what wind is going to do to a 22. It'll just do it that much shorter of a range.
Now, any type of accuracy that people can expect out of this gun versus, let's say, other rimfire, or even like a 1022?
No, we generally don't quote accuracy specs. It's so dependent on ammunition. It's dependent on the shooter, dependent on the optic, and especially if you're shooting this at long range with wind, you've got some expectations here. But you've got a very heavy barrel, a good trigger, a good solid foundation. If whatever's there, you're going to ring it out.
Awesome. And what's the price point and availability on this?
So we're in manufacturing these every day. The MSRP is $5.99. So it'll go across the counter, low fours. That's a bargain for a gun of this capability.
Yeah, so I mean, it's definitely not going to be a $100 bolt action 22, but at the same time, it's probably going to give you the accuracy of some higher end target 22s that we've seen introduced at SHOT Show. But with Ruger's backing, Ruger's support, and most of all,
decent price that people can actually afford.
Yes, and just a ton of fun. You really got to give it a try.
Awesome. So that's their Ruger.
Okay. There you go. I think that's the winner versus the new Bergara,
Oh yeah, sold.
price wise.
Yeah, that's one I want to get on. Once I get that one, I'll have all 3 of the Ruger 22s in bolt action.
Yes, we have that. This does have an extended mag release, which is kind of cool. You will have obviously more trigger choices here because it's a Remington 700 trigger. Although it's the marksman trigger, so I believe there's some aftermarket Ruger American rimfire triggers. Like I said, this does have a 30 MOA rail. I'm trying to find out. Let's see. But there's nothing MOA. So while we're actually on, I'm going to text Mark and find out what MOA rail it is.
Okay.
And
Timney launched their new Glock trigger today too.
Oh, we can pull that up.
Because I'm on Timney's website. Because if I remember right, they do make a trigger for Ruger.
Timney does.
Okay. Thanks for reminding me. I got to send that email out.
New year, new pew.
Yep, Ruger replacement trigger for Ruger American rimfire. So Timney does make an aftermarket one.
There we go.
And they do make the after. I knew they made the aftermarket for my rimfire precision. It's pricey, but probably worth it.
Okay, so if you guys want to see that, let me smack the like button and type a comment in the comment box that you want to see that Ruger American rimfire. I'm going to try to get the Bergara. Once again, I'm actually I was supposed to be on the wait list. Apparently, I am on the wait list for a couple of Bergaras in 6.5 PRC. However, I have not gotten any response in over 6 months. But I will try to get one of those as well. Now, trigger-wise, so a Glock trigger for 149 from Timney. I do not know how I feel about this.
I was watching a couple of videos from Ian from Top Shot on his channel last night. They popped up on, and so from everything I could see from it, it looked really nice. And 150 isn't that bad for a good Glock trigger.
Or just shoot a 1911.
You could do that too.
Or a CZ.
You know, I don't know how I feel about CZ. I don't have that much trigger time behind the CZ, so that's why I'm iffy about buying a P10C.
Well, that's a completely different gun. That's a striker fired, and that's actually pretty good.
Okay. I think me and Trigger Tech are going to be on the phone tomorrow. So.
Okay. All right. So I'm going to try to guess an answer live as to what size MOA base is on that Ruger American.
Okay.
Okay. To target one. What is that in regards to? I'm sorry, I missed that message. All right. 3-pound trigger for Gen 3 and Gen 4s. Cool.
Oh, Gen 4s could use all the help they can get. The stock triggers on those were not the greatest.
Yeah, well, it's a Glock. I mean, I shoot them really well. Not my favorite, but they're okay.
Mm-hmm.
And we did say that they have triggers for Rugers.
Yep.
American centerfire and American rimfire. There it is. 2-stage. You can get it down to 1.5 pounds. That seems like the winner. Very cool.
Definitely something to think about for my next project.
Awesome.
Seeing that looks like I might be doing more 22 matches than I am center fire matches. But
CZ USA 550, 6.5 by 55 Swede. I had NRA pros question my 5-shot, hopefully in a good way. That's actually an inherently really good caliber. I like 6.5 Swede. My Swedish Mauser is actually one of my favorites, and very still popular hunting cartridge out in Europe. And do you guys use it out west? 6.5 is Swedish.
it is a popular caliper out here. I've seen a lot of brass for 6.5 Swede lately. My brother-in-law talked about 6.5 Swede a lot when we were talking about 6.5 calipers because he's not a Creedmoor fan at all, which is fine. Just like he's not a fan of the 6mm Creedmoor, and we might be working on probably later this year a 243 Ackley improved project together. So
No, it's not. Okay, so we got the answer to that.
okay,
And it's a 30 MOA rail on the Hawkeye. And I got to prove somebody wrong because they're saying it's supposed to be in the bulleted features, but it is not.
how about you just put the request in for us and we'll just call it a day. Let's not make Mark mad.
There we go. Okay, so yeah, with a 30 MOA rail already included with that gun, that is an awesome gun. I guess that.
See, it would be hard for me to say if I'd want to put an Arca Swiss rail on it, just so I could use all my bipods for one rifle. I probably would, but get a hold of Aaron and be like, "Hey, Aaron, I need an Arca Swiss rail."
So the only thing I can think of is different bolt knob.
Yep.
And it is replaceable.
Aaron does sell the bolt handle for it.
Okay. Yay, we found a rimfire project for this year.
Yep. Okay. Yeah, I need one. So
very cool.
Because my whole thing is what I want to do an Arca Swiss rail on it and make it universal with all my bipods, or just put an M-Lock pick rail on it and just put one on it and leave it on there. So
this is awesome. Okay.
And being a 22-inch barrel, that's nice also.
So apparently it shows up on the mobile site, but it doesn't show up, the 30 MOA rail. It doesn't show up on the actual website. Awesome. Very, very cool. Yeah, so that's going to be a really good gun, 8 pounds. So it's a little bit heavier, but it's definitely a target style gun.
Mm-hmm. And what I like about it is you got the QD system.
Yeah, I was just about to point that out. Yeah, they don't have a custom shop version of this one, right?
I don't believe so.
They have the regular 1022 competitions. Not yet.
God, that SR 1911 right there. Now, if I could have one 1911, that would be it.
Actually, hold on. Let me just make sure we're talking. Just want to make sure we got the right caliber,
Mhm.
the right rifle. Okay. Very cool. Very, very cool. So I'm going to see if I can get an answer for that. Aaron is not going to be able to join us today, but next week we'll definitely cover more of
Okay, sounds like a plan.
that one. Now, did they have anything else new that they announced? I don't think so, right?
Not that I'm aware of. That was the only thing I've seen Bergara announce in a while.
And not that they updated their events or press releases in the last year.
Right.
I know they're trying. They're growing really, really quick, but I got an AR-15 lower finish for my used upper. I replaced for 22 long rifle. Use only to jam bad with cheap ammo in 223 or 556. I replaced for 22 long. Okay. Now, was that cheap 223 or cheap 22? And what was that using a conversion kit? Because I know that they're very finicky with those. All right. Yeah, there's nothing Bergara. Let me actually just take a look here. Yeah, so no, it's just the Bergara was just the micro compact.
That's what I thought.
Yeah, it should also be a 30. Okay, does that look canted to you? Yes, it does.
Yes.
Okay. So yes, that's a 30 MOA rail.
Okay. Well, I think we found the next project. Well,
Very
one of them this year.
Alrighty. So we did not have Joe come on. I know he was trying to plan to, and he popped on and off, but his video wasn't working. So on that note, this was awesome. The past 3 days, I've really enjoyed spending with you guys. I enjoyed having all the companies. So thank you to Tract. So John from Tract. Thank you, Mark from Ruger. Thank you, Aaron from Anarchy. Donnie and forgot his buddy's name, Brandon from Havoc Tactical Solutions. Thank you guys very much. And today, of course, we have George with Taurus. Jacob, thank you for setting that up. And thank you, Brett and Ed, from coming on to talk about Darkstorm. It was awesome. I'm sure you guys enjoyed it. If you did, smash the like button. And they're going to take tomorrow off, but I will try to schedule something for probably Tuesday and Wednesday. We can continually do this, and we'll have more companies come on, talk about their products, new introductions, and maybe even we'll see. My wifey gave a suggestion. We should do a giveaway.
Oh, that sounds like a good idea.
So we'll try to work with somebody to see if we can give something away, and you will probably need to be here live for that. So I'll make an announcement over the weekend. Tomorrow I'm going to take off. There might be some videos coming out. I did shoot a certain type of trigger today, which was fun. There was a couple of issues with 223, but ran like a champ with 6.5 Grendel. And I will not have that video on YouTube, and it'll only be on odyssey.com when it comes out. There's a link in the description box below. So join Odyssey and you'll see the videos that are too hardcore for YouTube or possibly politically incorrect for YouTube. As you guys know, gun rights are under attack by censorship from both Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and even YouTube. And the difficulties with YouTube is they restrict they have rules for limiting monetization of videos, and they have rules that's things that you shouldn't even be talking about. And videos including machine guns, videos including suppressors, reloading, or even showing you how to put an AR-15 together are absolutely not allowed on YouTube. And it's only a matter of time until you get a strike or your videos get demonetized or you get tossed. So I found a streaming service, a video sharing platform, which is decentralized, and it's all about content creator freedoms and the freedom of speech. And that is Odyssey, which is a offshoot of library.tv, and it's a video platform that is built off of a cryptocurrency, the library coin, and it's built off of the same type of technology that Bitcoin is based off of. But because that's how it's built, the videos cannot be removed, they cannot be censored, they cannot be silenced. And I'm making the move. I know Derek is making moves, and a couple of our friends, that we're going to have more questionable videos. And just, I guess, long term, I would love to move 100% to odyssey.com. So links for both of our channels in the description box below. Anything to add on that?
No, not right now. You guys can follow me over on Northwest Gun Reviewers over on YouTube, Instagram, MeWe, LinkedIn, and The Jump.
Awesome. So we will continue this. Derek, thank you Derek, thank you again for joining me the past couple of days. I've really enjoyed the conversations, and we shall continue this next week. Thank you, everybody.
See you guys.
All right. And as always, thank you for watching. Keep on squatting, and I'll see you in the next video.